Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Gormania, West Virginia, a mysterious phone call leads a young woman to run out of the door and never return. Now everyone is a suspect. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. We have got one of the craziest things we've ever dealt with this week, just in terms of... This is like the quintessential small town murder story of, I don't want to give anything away, but trust me, you have chosen a good week to listen.
This is why we do it.
If this is your first week, wow, enjoy. So this is a crazy week. Quickly, just want to get a little house cleaning out of the way here. Thank you guys for everything. Everybody out there for your reviews. First of all, they help a lot. Apple Podcasts, if you haven't yet, give us 5 stars because it does help a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now where tickets are available and on sale for the January 29th live virtual live show that we're going to do. This is not, we did the prisoner dating game last time and we just kind of did it, we're experimenting.
Loosey-goosey,
we didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
We were experimenting and now we have it down. So we're doing a real show just like on the the road, just like in a theater, except it'll be coming to your TV, I guess. So doing it just like that. We got mics. We got the whole thing. Technically, it's going to be wonderful.
You asked for it. We're doing it.
We're doing it. We're going to be holding microphones like we're on stage and everything. We're going to pretend. We're all going to pretend like the world is normal and do this. So shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Do that. Also, listen to Crime and Sports. Wild episode this week is a good place to start there. So give that a shot. Check that out. Baseball player.
You've never heard of him, probably.
Did a lot. If you're a baseball fan, you might, but not. He's not a mainstream guy. But wow,
if you're of a certain age too,
you'd have to be older than us.
A little bit older than us.
Yeah, that's what it would take there. So check that out. Also, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie, because God, I have to watch these terrible movies every week. And we watched Twilight a couple weeks ago. It's a disaster. So do that. And Patreon. My goodness, do we have Patreon this week? First of all, for Crime and Sports Patreon, which you will have access to if you are a Patreon supporter, we're going to talk about the USFL. Not really the demise of the USFL. There's a lot of good documentaries on that. More the craziness of a weird league that will eventually be defunct. People trying to collect paychecks. Players threatening owners with baseball bats, showing up at their front door. Owners having to go in and pay them in cash so they don't murder them. Things like that. A lot of drug stuff. It's
great.
It's a lot of fun. Rick James is involved.
Oh,
it's wild stuff. So check that out. Small Town Murders bonus episode Patreon this week is going to be, we're going to talk about Charles Manson, the Manson family, and Heaven's Gate, and we are going to compare and contrast the two cults.
Very different cults.
Very similar and very different. Extremely different, but also a lot of through lines that run through them.
A lot?
There are more than you think.
I can't wait to find out what you think.
More than you think.
The only thing that I see is don't talk to anybody else. That's where it ends.
But not really, because it's not just there. There's a lot more there in the psychological realm.
All right, I can see that.
It's going to be a lot of fun, though, because we have some interesting things. Find out that actually Roman Polanski at one point thought Bruce Lee killed Sharon Tate.
Stop.
I will tell you all about it. That's how crazy this is. Patreon.com/ That's true.
That's how sharp his karate chop is.
He said he's the only one who could come in and control the situation. But why would he shoot people?
Roman, it's a movie, man.
Anyway, Patreon.com/ crime and sports. Patreon.com/ crime and sports. You get all of that and more, everything. And Jimmy will mispronounce your name at the end of the show while we do shout outs. And you can also get the same shout out and mispronunciation if you donate on PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Very quickly, comedy show.
Right.
It's a comedy show. Yes. The cases are 100% real. They absolutely are, but we're comedians, so we make jokes. We're never like hilarious. The head came clean off. That's never one of the jokes.
It's not very
If you're thinking, oh God, that doesn't go together. No, that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
There are so many things that go on around a crazy murder in rural West Virginia that are hilarious.
If you don't think it's funny that Roman Polanski thinks Bruce Lee did that, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell
hilarious.
You. We'll talk all about that, though. But that's what we do here. So we go out of our way to not make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
There it is.
That's how it works. So if that sounds good to you, we are going to have a ball. If not, true crime and comedy should never go together in any aspect. Then maybe you won't like the show. I don't know. We warned you. But otherwise, everybody else, it's time to clear the lungs, sit back, and shout, "Shut up!"
and give me murder.
Let's do this.
Okay.
We're off on our timing, but that's fine.
That was close.
It's close. Let's do this. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
I would love to.
Would you love to go to West Virginia?
Not really.
But yeah, exactly. We're coming from Michigan last week, heading down to West Virginia. This is Gormania, West Virginia.
Gormania.
Which looks like Gormania, like entering a state of Gormania.
Is that what it is?
It's Hulkamania, but in Gormania.
Same spelling.
It's G-O-R Mania.
I like that.
It's Gormania, brother. Gormania 22 coming at you, brother. We're gonna. What the? It's weird.
I see Brad Pitt trying to pronounce it like Gormania.
Gormania, I think it is, West Virginia.
Okay.
Now, West Virginia looks like a chicken. If you laid a chicken out in front of you with the legs sticking out away from you, okay? You laid a chicken down. Now turn it to about 2 o'clock. Just turn it to 2 o'clock. That's what West Virginia looks like.
The Feeder Peninsula?
A laid out chicken.
Yeah. Is there a beach for West Virginia?
I don't think so.
How the fuck do they get those little claws in there then? Oh, you mean they're just 2 legs?
The 2 legs sticking out.
You don't have fingers on the legs?
It's a chicken, Jimmy. Chickens don't have fingers, really.
Well, you know what
Claws.
I mean.
It's not that detailed. There's no beak either. You want a beak in there also?
I can't see
It's the shape of a goddamn chicken. I'm being real. If you saw it from above, that's what it is. So if it's turned to 2 o'clock, this would be in the right leg.
Okay.
They call this the West Virginia Panhandle.
Okay.
So you've heard of panhandles in Florida and other places. Right. You ain't seen nothing until you've seen a West Virginia Panhandle.
Terrific.
Wow. It's about 2 hours and 25 minutes up to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And only 3 hours to Baltimore. What? So it's in a weird place where it's close to both those places. And
fascinating.
Yeah, it's right in the middle there. And about 3 hours and 40 minutes down to Leyland, West Virginia, which was our last West Virginia episode 169, and one of our most insane. West Virginia never disappoints, put it that way.
They bring heat.
That was crazy, that episode. That's the one with the guy dangling off the bridge and the cops pull up and there's like a kid with a stick trying to push a corpse off a bridge.
They let him go and he got stuck.
That was wild.
They're just beating it.
We'll bury him. Well, let's dig him back up again. I don't know. What are we going to do with him? Let's put him on the kitchen table for a while. I don't know. Well, let's bring him to the bridge. Oh, shit, there's cops coming. Just let him dangle. That was insane. And the guy deserved it, too, so it was pretty funny.
He's kind of a jerk.
Check that out. This is in Grant County, which is pretty ironic, considering it's named after Ulysses S. Grant, and they don't...
He doesn't believe what they believe.
If you've been to West Virginia, it doesn't seem like a real pro-union kind of place, even though it was split up in
not
very
a lot
evenly.
Of similar votes as Grant would give.
Not anymore.
No.
The motto here, it's a basic motto, but they're honest at least. It's quote, "Scream all you want, ain't nobody gonna hear you." Yeah. So that's what you're getting here. This is up in the hills, by the way. This is over 2,500 feet of elevation.
Okay.
And, this is...
talking about hollers.
We're talking about hollers.
Yeah.
We're talking about populations of 200 people or less in a town.
Really?
Yeah, this is... if you're from anywhere else in the world, you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
This isn't normal, okay? Yeah. I just want to tell everybody out there that...
It is fascinating that
we have this, but this isn't everybody. This is a very small percentage of people.
You love the ability to get good pizza and like the accessibility to like things.
Yes.
And you hate the being involved in the getting of the thing.
Yeah, I don't
want this lifestyle with the ease of getting a great slice of
That's
pizza.
The thing. I can't have both.
Sounds awesome to have 200 people.
I need a good weed dispensary nearby, and I need a good slice of pizza, and I need stuff like that. Yeah. I have certain things I need.
There is a certain mystique
I can't live here.
and I don't know, and a draw to having no neighbors like that and having nobody around. That sounds awesome.
I mean,
but the ability to get things sucks.
I can't deal with that. Yeah, that's bad. So this town started out, we'll go through the history very briefly. The town started out in 1830. A guy named Jacob Schaefer bought land near the Potomac River.
Yeah.
Big deal. Who cares? For $150. And I think he overpaid. Just going to say. We'll talk about this Peter Gorman guy because things are named after him. We're going to talk about Gormania today. And then directly across the border into Maryland, because this is right on the Maryland border.
Yeah.
Directly across the border, we're talking quarter mile, is Gorman.
Gorman, Maryland.
Yeah. So there's Gorman, Maryland, Gormania, West Virginia, and they're attached basically by
awesome.
They're only split by a border.
Fantastic.
Otherwise, you just drive down this road, and I think it's US 50 maybe, possibly, and then that's it. You're there.
And you got different taxes on either side.
Different license plates, everything's different. So
Dry County, all that shit.
That's it. So in 1859, Peter Gorman was 20 years old, and he was one of the founding members of the Washington Nationals, which was the first official baseball team in America.
20 years old.
Yeah, he was 20. He rose to become a star by the end of the Civil War. He's one of the first baseball stars in America, basically, because back then that was when. Baseball was just starting over here. In 1867, he led the Nationals westward, where they beat every team except for Rockford, Illinois, because those peaches are tough. Lori Petty gets on the mound. She's really focused. It's hard.
You can't steal home with Dottie back there.
That's what I'm saying. Well, actually, the Rockford, Illinois team had Albert Spalding as its pitcher. You might recognize that name by every ball you've ever held that has his name fucking stitched on it. That's the guy we're talking about.
You get autographs from famous people on him.
On him. He was pitching, actually. I don't think he had a ball with his name on it at the time, but there's that. So in 1867, Gorman was elected to a one-year term as the president of the National Association of Baseball Players, which is way previous to the Union there. In 1903, Gorman and his son-in-law tried but failed to buy the Washington Senators baseball team, that's a big deal. It folded and came back multiple times.
So many times.
So between its establishment in 1870, Grant County was divided into different townships because this is Grant County. Now, more in 1985, there were election day floods in these counties, and 47 people were killed.
Oh, my God.
In 1985.
85? You're risking life and limb to vote for Reagan?
Well, I mean, I don't think West Virginia mattered that much to him, but election day, 85, was it like local elections? That's not even a presidential year. That's 84.
Well, so
you're
right.
I don't know what the hell they're doing in 85, but 47 people were killed in the... You don't hear a lot of people being killed in floods. You'll hear like a flash flood and 2 people were swept away, but not 47.
Right.
That's
a lot.
It's a
lot. But
I mean,
8,000 died in Galveston, but that was 1800s, right? I think.
I mean, it happens now,
it's got to be a
Hurricane Katrina, but not a flood in a town from a river. That's just
It's rare that a little bit of rain
from the Potomac. That's odd. So I'm sure it was a quick thing. I don't know. At Franklin, which is the Pendleton County seat, the south branch of the Potomac River crested at 22.6 feet during that, and the flood stage in the riverbed was only 7 feet. So that's a lot more.
You got fucked.
That's 3 times.
You got 18 feet of water coming at you.
3 times the flood level. That's not good at all. There's a cemetery in town that's on top of a hill that has like 30 people buried in it from what I've seen from this blogger. They were saying that most of the markers are made out of wood.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
that I can deal with.
There's about 15 markers left standing, and only a few of them have names.
Oh,
so
no.
It's just a hill of corpses. So
that's
West Virginia.
Yeah.
Now, the reviews of this town are very simple. I don't know if this is what it's like talking to people here or what, but they're all like one sentence. Everywhere else, there's like descriptors. I'll give you a few real fast. 2 stars. Little job opportunities. No factories here. End of review.
That's all he's got.
That's what he's got. 3 stars. The overall review of this area isn't awful. That's all.
It's not awful.
It isn't awful. The overall, it's not awful. Thanks for the descriptiveness.
That's what I've got.
Wow. I feel like then he chewed, and spit, and then just stared, waiting for a response. Here's 3 stars. Only have Family Dollar Store, Dollar General Store, and 1 grocery store. Few gas stations and few fast food places. That's it. That's all.
They treat it like TripAdvisor, but like less thorough.
They're like Facebook comments.
Succinct.
Hey, cute kid, nice car. Hope you had fun. See you at Christmas. Like that. It's very...
Cute kid, nice car. Your wife could jog a little bit.
That's it. Yeah.
See you around.
You've lost a lot of hair. That's a Facebook comment.
Remember high school? Bye.
Look at you. You look terrible. Great. Bye. You look awful. Your whole family, your kids aren't as cute as you think they are. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Here's 4 stars. This is a very low bar here for 4 stars. I haven't heard of any crimes occurring in this area. Seems pretty safe to me.
That's what it takes?
That's all. He looked outside.
Yeah.
Didn't see anybody with like a machete running down the street hacking at people indiscriminately. So he's like, pretty safe to me.
And nobody told him that happened.
Yeah. Looking good.
Haven't heard anything.
Haven't heard.
If it's so important that people talk about it.
I mean, if I hear it, I'll change my mind. I'll take a star off. But for now, 4 stars.
I haven't heard shit.
4 stars right now. Here's another 4 stars. This is the most voluble you're going to get out of these people. 4 stars, quote, most neighbors are very friendly. Neighborhood is generally quiet. Road needs a little work due to many potholes. Part of the road was finally paved a few years ago, so it is much better.
Part of The road.
The road. Part of the road. That's how small of a town this is. They talk about part of the road.
They don't even have a name for it. No, it's the road, James.
The road.
Right.
How many roads are there that we're going to actually pave? The rest just go up in the hollers. They're barely fucking carved out.
What the shit?
Here's one for nearby Petersburg. Peterburg. This is the kind of a little bit bigger town close by. 3 stars. Quote, it's a great small town, but the problem is no one wants to stay unless you are an older person. The cost of living here is not too bad. 2, of course, is not done properly. More for the lower income.
Is it the number or just
it's a TO? Yeah, that's fine. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
People are really nice and want to help. Sometimes too much. Correct this time. Yeah. So no, fuck you. You just messed up there. At least they know. So you know what? Not fuck you. You're good. You know at least. You just maybe were typing fast. Who knows?
Okay.
Another problem is there can be drama.
Wait. I thought we had the problem nailed down, but now we've got more problems?
No. But the problem is no one wants to stay unless you're an older person. The cost of living here is not bad. More for lower income. People are really nice and want to help, sometimes too much. Another problem is, even though the other one was the problem,
right.
That's fine. There can be drama. Okay. And recently we've had more problems with drugs being in our small town. Well, yeah, you're in the hills of West Virginia.
Right.
Come on, what do you want here? It used to be not like that, but you cannot fix everything.
Used to be.
Not
like that.
Used to be not like that.
That guy says used to could.
Used to coulda.
Yeah.
I coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Used to could get a dime bag for a dime.
I mean, shit, you got a lid for... There are old people talking about that when we were like teenagers. Back in the day, you get a lid. It was like, that isn't even a measurement of any drugs anymore. It's not a measurement of things. What is that? That's not a measurement. And I asked old people, how much weed was that? No one ever gave me a straight answer. I've heard it 50 different things. If you look it up, it's all, that's a 4 fingers. It's this, it's that. No one knows. They just say, here's a bag of weed. It's a random amount that I've said.
A random measurement that I call a lid.
It's enough to get your friends high for a while. There you go. Sure. People in this town, 124. So not a lot. That's the town.
This is nobody.
124 people.
It's like 4 families.
It's it. Down 38% since 1990, too. So it is dying. More males than females. Who cares? A little bit older population. The median age is 44. 41% of the people are 65 to 74 years old in this town.
Wow.
It is...
elderly.
It's a lot of older people.
Yeah.
70% are married, but these are... It's only 124 people, so the stats are really...
This place isn't going to exist one day.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's going to go away.
Nobody is single with no children or single with children, which I don't understand how you could be. How can you be not? It makes no sense. So that stat.
There's no single people.
But there is. So it makes no sense. Race of this town, it's 83% white.
Yep.
And 17% 2 or more races.
And that's it.
That's it. There is no Asian people, no black people, no Hispanic people. We don't know what those 2 or more races are.
There's a white guy with something else in him.
Yeah, but nobody identifies as black, Asian, Hispanic, none of that shit. 43% of the people are religious because if you live here, honestly, how could you possibly believe in anything, any guiding power? You'd go, this is... even if I did believe in it, I'd be against it if I had to live in Gormania, West Virginia. So the people here, it's a pretty mixed bag on religion. The highest amount of one religion is other Christian faith. Other. Yeah. I assume there's snakes flying around. Who knows what's happening up here? 0.0% Jewish, though. That we're sure of. The unemployment rate here is about double the rest of the country as well. And it's a little bit rough. They've had no job growth recently or anything like that.
Right.
But there is, because the people who do have jobs here are miners.
Oh.
And the miners...
That's still happening.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They make decent money because it's a crazy fucking job, obviously. So you have to pay people crazy amounts of money to do it. So median household income here is $44,000 a year, which is still way under the $57,000 normal, but... more than you would think. Most of the people make 30 to 50 grand a year, which is you can live off of here, as we'll get into. Cost of living, 100 is normal, regular. Here it's 84, which is still little bit higher.
But about average compared to, about the right amount compared to the amount under the national average in income.
It's similar. You're right. And the housing is a 65 out of 100. Median home cost $151,400. So
that's too much.
It's a little bit too much to live in the holler here. I'm just, a little much here. Not a lot for sale. Yeah. I'll say that much. I had a hard time finding.
Nobody's died this month.
Places. Yeah, the places that are there are. Oh boy. Well, we'll get into it because if you can't help yourself, we have for you the Gormania, West Virginia Real Estate Report. All right, I found, by the way, you're right, Jimmy, we're calling this Gormania
forever.
I know it's probably Gormania, but it's Gormania, brother.
Call it Gormania?
It's Gormania.
Gormania, it sounds gourmet. It sounds nice.
We're paving half the road, brother. Gormania. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $626 a month.
No machinery. We're doing it ourselves.
Right out of the ground. I found a 0.83 acre lot.
Yeah.
It's ugly as shit.
Yeah.
It's just dead things. It has a stream running through the back of it,
Third of an acre.
8.83.
Oh,
so
0.83.
Almost a whole acre. $6,000.
That's amazing.
So, I mean, you can go fishing. It's a place to go fishing.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a very bad used car.
I want to own that.
You can. You can put it on, I don't know, do you have credit cards, I'm sure?
I don't know.
If they're maxed out or whatever. But
yeah, that's the thing.
I found one here in a nearby town. This was the closest structure I could find. It's still the middle of nowhere. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 980 square feet. Very remote, sitting up on a very weird hill.
Okay.
It's fucking weird.
Is there a Unabomber?
Not even Unabomber.
No.
It looks like I draw children here so I can take them apart and use their parts for my artwork. That's what it looks like.
I'm going to take kids apart, put together a whole new kid.
That's how it's going to be. I'll put his head on his butt.
Right.
See how that works out. $89,900 if you want to do that. Then I found one. It's just woods.
Yeah.
21 acres of woods.
All right.
$49,900.
Fuck, it's 0.83. I want that.
That's a lot of woods.
That's awesome.
Not bad. Things to do here in this town, my goodness, is the Spring Mountain Festival.
Okay.
This is all that happens around here.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. This whole area is like Spring Mountain, as they consider it.
There's nobody that's famous coming to this. We know that.
Oh, no.
They're not buying. They're not getting anything.
They would be able to find it.
Right.
I'm just going to read what they've told me on the website and describe it. Its roots run deep in Grant County and date back to the Whitewater Weekend that was an annual event every year starting in 1973 and running until 79. Whitewater Weekend was centered around kayak and canoe races on the North Fork of the South Branch River and culminated each year with the April Fool's race of, quote, anything that floats that's not a boat.
Okay.
So just make a contraption.
Bring a bathtub.
Try not to drown in the river, basically. How many rescues are they making out of that?
Somebody floated a jacuzzi.
Yeah, my lawnmower fell apart.
Right. I thought flipping a mower upside down would float it.
That seat seemed like it would keep it up. The gas tank, everything.
You guys know there's no air in the tires?
Oh, shit. So the U.S. Championship canoe races were held on the North Fork, which sparked. Jesus, that's insane. There's canoe races
on the North Fork of the South. Which what is it?
On the North Fork, which sparked the weekend and was combined with a Golden Trout Festival to become the Whitewater Weekend. Local craftsmen, clubs, and vendors provided food and crafts to crowds that would literally walk miles to come see them. They don't have cars.
What?
Why are they walking miles? Why are they walking miles?
They got to get that golden trout.
This is the type of place I described. One of the wrestlers on the New Jack episode was talking about living in wrestling. They were working at Jim Cornette's territory, which was in rural Kentucky. Yeah. So they worked West Virginia in the hills, and they were talking about being in West Virginia. And guy said that a donkey came over the hill with the two kids on it.
And then they smacked it on the ass.
They got to the wrestling show, smacked the donkey on the ass, and it went home. And then the kids went to the wrestling show barefoot with their overalls on. And he was like, where the fuck am I? This is the area we're talking about here. This is not This is different.
Kid with a rope belt.
Oh, a belt?
Yeah.
No, overalls, so you don't need a belt. My belt straps around my shoulders. That's how I got 2 of them, and they just both shoulders.
I got vertical belts.
Keeps them up. I like my belts up and down, the tall way.
Smack the donkey
on the ass and send it back.
Smack the ass.
Smack the ass on the ass. Yeah. So that's the type of place. The Whitewater Weekend died out after a number of floods destroyed the rapids and other community and traffic issues forced its curtailment.
Wow.
Who knows? Probably malicious shooting at people as they walked into town. This left Grant County and Petersburg searching for a new festival to take place at the Whitewater Weekend. In 1992, the Grant County Chamber of Commerce sponsored the first Spring Mountain Festival in Petersburg City. Oh boy, look at this. It's got fairs and festivals, pageant, free entertainment, they don't say what it is, ranging from bluegrass to country and classic rock to gospel, with circus or magic acts for the young and young at heart. Oh boy. Bounce houses, a trout derby. Holy shit.
What?
A trout derby.
How do you even do that?
I think it's whoever catches the most trout. I think it's like in Funny Farm when they go, that's what they were going to do. I think it's like a trout derby.
I just see them crashing fish into each other.
Oh, that's, well, God damn it, mine never goes straight. I told him that's the exit. So the parade with bands, military units, fire engines, and pageant royalty.
Oh, boy.
By the way, you know who will be crowned there in April 2021? Miss Spring Mountain Festival pageant will be March 14th. Miss Spring Mountain Festival pageant.
How old?
Oh, boy. It doesn't say how old here, but I assume probably too young. Too young to be staring at in that way.
Exactly.
I'm going to go out.
Creepily
young. Crime rate in this town, not including staring at beauty pageant contestants, which should be, but that's not in these stats. Okay. Property crime is about 1/3 of the national average, so 2/3 under it.
Okay.
So pretty goddamn low.
Yeah.
I don't know what there is to steal, really.
That's maybe what it is.
Maybe. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is less than half the national average.
What?
So there's not enough people.
Yeah.
You're spread out, and if anyone, they all know each other.
That's it.
I saw Bill killing Frank. I saw it. God damn it. I heard him yelling through the holler. I'm going to kill you, Frank.
And I saw it, and that's what happened.
There it was. I'm sorry, but it was there. So that said, let's talk about a murder.
Great.
Let's do this. Okay. Well, we're going to have to go back a little bit in time to 1988.
Okay.
So not that far back.
Bad.
Not that we're talking, I don't know, Paul Abdul's dancing around with cartoon cats.
You know how weird that is to say out loud and then realize that they're
32 years ago?
Yeah. That's so fucking long ago. Why do I remember that? You know why? Because I'm old.
Because you're old now, yeah. I break everything up into color and black and white. That's all. If it's in black and white, it's old as shit. And if it's in color, okay.
Take it easy with that, though, because I just showed my daughter The Wizard of Oz last night. That shit's in color. 1939.
Well, yeah, but normal. That was a huge deal.
A lot of people didn't know that shit was in color because the TV didn't make it that way.
No, on the theater though, that was whoa, look at the color. That was a big deal. Whereas I'm talking like your regular picture that like mom would have taking pictures of the kids.
Got it.
What are those pictures in?
Okay.
If they're in black and white, that's some old shit.
It's a different time.
If they're in color, it's modern times at least.
Yeah.
So 1975 is modern times, even though I wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
Neither were you. So this murder, we're going back to 1988. Said 1988 was a weird time. In America.
Yeah.
Very strange. It's a very weird time. A lot of
12 years post the bicentennial. The bicentennial was a big deal to like bring everybody together, but we weren't even really in a good place yet.
Oh, terrible place. No, but 1988, possibly the worst fashion ever.
Yeah.
Everybody dressed terribly. Mullets were still in fashion.
Yeah.
But like more permy now. So it's like a fluffier mullet people were going for, a mane of a mullet.
Crew.
Yeah, the music was literally, you can't get any bigger shit pile than 1988.
It wasn't good.
It was before, the whole thing switched over again in the 3 years. It was bad stuff.
Right.
So 1988, very ugly. Gorman, Maryland, it might as well be 1961 because it's the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Let's be realistic here. So we're going to start our story in Gorman, Maryland, which is a actual stone's throw away from Gormania. It's Gormania, brother.
We can't.
I can't not call
can't
it
legitimize it with Gormania. I'm not doing it.
Gormania, brother. Jimmy Whisman, you're mine at Gormania. It's been too long, Jimmy Whisman.
How has the UFC not used that?
God damn it. I'm sorry, Jimmy Whisman. You've been out here running your mouth. You came and you interfered in my match, Jimmy Whisman. I ain't taking it no more.
I'm going to tear your arms off and beat you with stumps at Gormania.
Oh, that's right. You came interfering, jumping off of the top rope on me. I said, nope. That's it. This is going to be settled in one place and one place only. Gormania 44, brother. It's coming.
Pull your intestines out at Gormania.
Gormania 44, brother. So, Gorman, Maryland, February 17th, 1988. Let us talk about a young lady.
Okay.
Let's do this. Let's talk about Catherine Denise Ford.
Wonderful.
Kathy, she goes by. Young Kathy is 19 years old.
Yeah.
And she, by all accounts, is a happy, nice, everybody likes her. We'll give her a little background here. She has 3 brothers, including her twin brother.
Yep.
So she's a twin. That's always
that's weird.
A different dynamic. Yeah, it's not normal, but it's always a different dynamic. She's got
are they I mean, no,
they're
can't be.
Yeah, they're different sexes.
But I've seen
everything but the penis. Everything else is very similar.
I realized when I was about to ask it what's happening there.
Yeah,
but a lot of
they
times
can look identical.
They look really close.
I know a pair of people that went to kindergarten with them. Even they were twins and knew them all through high school and everything, and they're fucking identical. And it was really disturbing.
Different sexes.
Different sexes.
Yeah, that's
and
my
we'd
point.
say, hey, you're him with tits.
Yeah.
Your sister is you with tits. It's creepy.
My grandfather.
No one wanted to go out with her. Like, it's too creepy.
I can't
it's you
do
with
it.
tits.
I smoked weed with your brother, and we talked about girls. This is weird.
I just can't. I just can't. I can't do it.
I know what your brother likes, and I don't like that.
No.
I don't like that I know that. My grandfather's a twin, and they are identical. That's what the doctor said it. No, they're fucking not.
Really?
They don't look fucking... Apart from being bald, there's nothing else.
Interesting. Well, people also, maybe over time,
maybe, I don't know.
They are kids. They look
very obviously not twins.
Weird.
It's bizarre.
Maybe they just misunderstood the doctor.
I don't know. Maybe the doctor doesn't know fuck.
He said we don't look alike, but then he said we're twins, so we're twins. We're identical.
I don't know. Don't put anything past my grandfather. He'll tell you anything, and you'll believe it.
Yeah. So 3 brothers, including a twin brother. So that's the girl of the family. When you got 3 brothers, is if you know any women who were the only girl and a bunch of brothers, it's there's a certain dynamic to them usually.
That's usually one of the toughest women you've ever met.
They're usually cool as shit, by the way.
Right.
They're usually very cool, and they're very tough because they've basically, if they wanted to play with their brothers, they were playing tackle football and shit like that.
Right.
And so they're usually very
And you don't
very
fuck
cool.
with that girl.
No.
She's got 3 dudes.
She knows how to throw a right hook, too.
Right.
She's been told how to throw across. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
So she and her family lived in Wilmington for a long time, and that's where she grew up, was in Wilmington. While she was there, she went to Del Castle Trade School in Newcastle, where she majored in child care and cooking. This is at like pre-14 years old.
She majored in being a mom?
A trade school at 14?
Right.
What are you doing?
What happened?
She could be that's too early to be like, you're going to...
Higher learning now, girl.
Well, yeah. It's
does school stop in 8th grade?
It is rural. Yeah. Not in Wilmington. That's not a rural place. Well, maybe that's why they moved here. She was a member of the Richardson Park United Methodist Church in Wilmington. Okay. And then they ended up, the family moved here in 1984, as we'll talk about, to buy a restaurant in this small town. The father still works in Wilmington during the day, and the family runs this restaurant in town, and that's their new life. It's the Old Mill restaurant that they run. She graduates in 1986 from Southern High School, which is early. That's graduating, a little bit early, I think, 17 or so. Everybody says she's a real friendly... She's not a dreamer. She's not doesn't have her head in the clouds, but in a good way. She's down to earth. She's sensible. She's reliable. She says she'll be there at 2:00. She'll be there at 2:00, and she'll do her thing. And she's a hardworking kind of young girl.
Reliable.
Reliable. Here's a picture of her.
All right. Yeah. She looks like it. Yeah.
Very pretty too. She's,
she doesn't look like
very pleasant.
She tells you she's going to do something. She's going to do it.
She looks very pleasant. Yeah. Like you'd see her and you go, oh, hi. She just looks friendly, which is nice. The Old Mill restaurant, her father is a Conrail freight yard worker who commutes from Wilmington, Delaware on weekends to help run the restaurant.
Oh, my.
That's a life.
Yeah.
He's a friggin' freight yard worker during the week.
Feels like that's what the title should be. Friggin'
freight yard worker. Yeah, when they hire you. Yeah, so I see you applied to be a friggin' freight yard worker. All right. You know this job's friggin' hard, right? It's a friggin' hard job. I'm telling you right now.
Everything's friggin' around here.
It's a friggin', you get your friggin' lunch at 11:30. You got about a half friggin' hour, so get back before the time goes off there.
Friggin' quitting time is when I say it is. That's when it is.
Paydays every 2 friggin' weeks.
Get your rest of friggin' work.
You know what I mean? You can go to HR, sign up for the 401 friggin' K, get that set up, and we'll go. So, a freight yard worker, which sounds like a hard job to do 5 days a week. Sounds like on the weekends you would want to relax and unwind.
Be prepared for next week.
Let your muscles heal up, because he's not a young guy. He's got kids in his in their 20s and late teens, so he's got to be in his late 40s, 50s, some shit like that. So that's a tough life. And then instead he goes commutes on the weekend to rural Maryland so he can help run a restaurant, which, by the way, is a really hard job running a restaurant. So,
not just hard difficulty in terms of like what you're doing, mentally and stress-wise, financially, it's a nightmare.
So that's this guy's life is 7 days a week, which seems pretty rough here. Now, young Kathy, she has a boyfriend. Since they moved here 3 years ago, right around the time they moved here, she met a young man named Darvin Moon, which is a Darvin. It's an interesting name. I don't think I've ever heard that name before.
He's bona fide.
Darvin Moon?
Right.
Sounds like something that Charles Manson named one of the kids that one of the Manson girls had. We're naming him Darvin Moon.
Right.
Zazzafraz, Darvin.
And Squeaky's pissed.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck?
I was going to name him Ted, but okay. It's fine.
I get stuck with this bullshit.
Yeah, it's okay. Fine. He's Darvin.
Right.
So Darvin Moon here, she's been in like a 3-year relationship with him, so the time she's 16 to 19.
Okay.
So it's as serious as you can be at that stage. And in West Virginia, I don't know. The fact that she hasn't had 4 kids already is probably a miracle.
It's
in this
also
area.
a sixth of her life. It's all she knows.
Yeah, and I think that's what the fact that like they haven't like gotten married and ran off into the hollers or something tells me that this family is probably pretty together.
Yeah,
and I think she seems to be raised right. She seems to care about school and things and work.
She's got a plan.
Yeah, she does. She seems to be a very on the ball type of person. Sure. So now she's in a relationship with him. On February 17th, she gets some phone calls while at the family restaurant. Okay. Now her mother, Rosalie, heard her daughter say, "Mom, I have to go. I'll be back in an hour." Okay. So she walked out of the door of the restaurant, the old mill, got behind the wheel of her silver Ford Bronco 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, not
fucking
bad.
Cool.
Yeah, those are neat little rides.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So she gets in there and heads west, headed into West Virginia on US 50.
Okay.
And they saw her turn onto Bismarck Road, and then she drove off.
And a cloud of dust.
Cloud of dust behind her, like Daisy Duke.
Yeah.
I picture her like Daisy Duke. That's how I picture her.
On
with a Bronco instead of a Jeep.
Town. That's so rad.
Popping out. She works at the restaurant like Daisy Duke.
Top comes off that fucking Bronco.
Yeah, she's so Daisy Duke, damn it. It's cool. That's a cool thing. So the call that she received, apparently, was received a call from a man. He said he was a magistrate at Mount Storm in Grant County, West Virginia. So he said he wanted Kathy to meet him at his office at 3 p.m. that day to discuss some checks that the restaurant had gotten.
Okay.
So it sounds like there's somebody's got some check fraud going on, and they're tracking down
checks, and you've got
tracking down merchants that took the checks and whatever, and trying to find. That's what it sounds like.
Right.
So that was in the morning that happened. So she's supposed to go at 3 p.m. Then later that day, another call came in for her, a different call. Now, this man claimed to be, he says he's an undercover officer. So you have a magistrate called in the morning. Now an undercover officer calls her later on in the morning. So it's interesting. And no one else takes the calls. It's just Kathy talking to these people. So they said that called her with information concerning a possible investigation of her family's restaurant by the liquor licensing authorities.
What the fuck?
So she's like, oh my God, was there some weird thing with a check that led them to look into something else? And now we got a liquor violation? Shit.
Right.
So yeah, she's wondering, especially it's IDs is what they're worried about.
Okay.
Because in rural areas, kids will get sold liquor sometimes a little bit. Yeah, what the hell? Here you go, kid. Have a 12-pack. You're just going to go in the woods and drink it anyway. What's it going to hurt anybody?
You're going to puke, have a headache. You'll never do this
Yeah,
again.
and it doesn't matter. So that's that, especially back then. And that's the time in the 80s when they were starting to crack down on shit like that and actually fine places and close places down for selling alcohol to kids. So she is kind of in a bit of a tizzy over these phone calls, and she tells her family and everybody at the restaurant, all the employees, do not sell beer to anyone without checking fucking ID.
Yep.
Make sure every purchase gets an ID check, and she says, I have to go now, and leaves.
Okay.
So gets calls, says, make sure. She seems freaked out, make sure. So the family's like, what the hell is going on? And why won't she tell us? So she got in her Bronco, turned onto Bismarck Road. She never comes back.
Really?
never comes back.
She's had enough of this shit.
Enough. Literally, that cloud of dust is the last they ever see of her.
That's terrifying.
Her cars just disappears.
No truck either.
No truck. She's going right across into to talk to a magistrate at 3:00 and talk to an undercover cop about a liquor violation.
Yeah.
And never gets back. She's 5'10", weighs 140 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She's carrying she's wearing stonewashed jeans because it's 1988, obviously. She's got a black blouse, black leather coat, black shoes, carrying a pink handbag.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds cool. Right. So it's a 1986. Oh, it's pretty new, too. An 86 Ford Bronco 2.
Hell yeah.
Maryland plate 026245. So there she is. That's who they're looking for. They even have her ring sizes, they announced to everybody. I don't know how you would get to the point of measuring a ring size if the rest of the shit didn't give it away.
How many missing women do you have that look the same?
I found the car. Yeah. She's got a pink purse.
Right.
She's wearing this shit. 5'10", which is tall.
License plate.
Tall for a girl.
Right.
All this stuff. But let me make sure. Let's get over here and check your ring size.
6 on the ring.
Nope.
It's not her.
No, but she's a 5.5. So... Nope. She was wearing, well, they have it because of her jewelry that she's wearing, but she's got a 14 karat gold, 3 diamond rings, half carat, bunch of
She
rings.
is the most successful person in this town, it sounds like.
She's doing
crushing
well.
it.
Bunch of little rings and everything like that. That's what they're looking for. So they're like, hey, if you see jewelry, if you see a girl wearing this, whatever. So her mother afterwards says, quote, she just didn't act right. After the conversation, she said it was weird. She was acting like funny and secretive about it. She wouldn't tell her mom. Meanwhile, they all own the restaurant.
Right.
She even the daughter has like a legal percentage of the restaurant.
Interesting.
If the whole family, that was the deal when they moved there. If everybody worked, everybody got a piece of it. Yeah. So because there's a lot of brothers and sisters, so you gotta spread it out evenly. So she asked her daughter, she said, quote, do you know this guy? At first she told me no, then yes.
Okay.
So this isn't helping the mystery.
The magistrate or the cop?
Either one. He said, well, what are you talking about?
Who do you know?
Exactly. So the mother said, quote, I said, quote, can't you tell me who it is? And she said, no, he'll lose his job. I said, I have an uneasy feeling about you going to meet with this person. She said, Mom, I have to go. I'll be back in an hour. And that was the last time I saw her.
Oh, no.
So this is frightening. This is what people worry about. Disappearing into thin air.
Yeah.
In a small, this should be safe. Like, there's nobody there.
Right.
You wouldn't expect this. So they look for her. Obviously, they're looking for her that day and the next day. Right. She doesn't come home. She's supposed to be back in an hour. There's a lot of fear because it's a small town and you hear a 19-year-old girl disappeared.
And car,
thin air, everybody's freaks out because it's a small town. Word gets around fast. Word echoes through the hollers pretty quickly around these parts.
Turns into alien abductions and all that shit.
And there are no theories not being floated in this. And I'm not even shitting you.
I'm sure of it.
There are, wait till you hear later.
Oh,
Madon, holy shit. So anyway, they're all freaking out. And by the way, and I would like to show you in this newspaper, it says, quote, people throughout the southern tip of Garrett County and the West Virginia Panhandle have voluntarily searched for her on foot, in vehicles, and from the air.
And it's all spelled correctly.
In the goddamn newspaper, West Virginia Panhandle. I love it. This is all panhandle behavior here coming up. So the restaurant where she was, and she was the cook, too.
Oh.
That's the other thing.
Oh, no.
Kathy cooked. She wasn't like waiting tables or like checking people out. She wasn't the hostess. She was the one cooking.
Oh, no.
So you have to have a certain level of... Something. She just got it together.
But also the shit's going to fall apart. It's cool, her recipes.
Though. She can throw she can throw food together. She's got a cool Bronco.
She's rad.
Sounds like she dresses cool. Like she's cool. Yeah, So anyway, this whole place, the diner becomes the Find Kathy Center. This becomes Kathy is Missing central headquarters for... Everybody's there. The cops are there.
It's the last place you've seen alive.
Yeah, and it's a small place, so everybody can gather at this local, the center point to do this. So
much COVID.
Oh, now, 1988, they weren't so concerned. So it's all anybody with a tip, a rumor.
Yeah.
If you have a rumor, if you heard, I heard 2 towns over, guys, that you went to the restaurant to tell everybody the rumor, and they wrote it the fuck down.
Wow.
And thought about it. Yeah, they put up her prom portrait on the cooler and flyers with her picture on it. It's fucking sad, man.
Yeah.
This is some sad small town shit.
Oh, no.
The police are looking into this, definitely. One of them is a guy right here we'll talk about, a man named Paul William Ferrell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Will or like...
No, his name is Paul William Ferrell, like Will Ferrell.
Okay.
Yes, his name could be Will Ferrell if he chooses to.
Great.
So that's wonderful. But he goes by Paul for some reason. 10 years later, he's like, I really fucking blew that one, huh? Damn it, I could have got a lot of social media following.
Could have helped.
Could have helped me. So Paul Ferrell here, he's born in March 1956.
Yep.
So he's 32 years old at this point, 31 years old. He is like Mr. All-American. He's a Grant County Sheriff's deputy.
Right.
And he's Mr. All-American. He's like, he went to Southern High School as well, where she graduated. He was a basketball star at Southern High and a Gold Gloves middleweight champion when he was a teenager. From West Virginia.
Yeah,
so
he's a real Southern boy.
He's an athlete.
Yeah.
He's plays basketball, boxes, so he's got different things that he does, good grades, everything like that.
Boy, does he love a hot dog.
Oh, he loves a good hot dog. Well, you know it.
Yeah.
Just fucking
hot dog and a beer, my favorite.
Oh man, he likes him a good pageant.
Yeah, he
can tell you the last 10 Miss Spring Mountain Festival pageant winners. I'll tell you right now, boy. Now, 1984. That was a champion. That was a pageant winner.
They don't make them like that no more.
They just don't make them like that. She could spit tobacco like, I mean, it was her talent.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And it was it wasn't even the distance, which was impressive.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Right.
It was the accuracy of it that was just
not even a stream, more of a ball of spit.
It was like a bullet coming out.
She's like an air conditioner. They don't make them like that no more.
Remember in a cartoon when an animal gets shot a whole bunch and then he'd spit the bullets back at him in a gunfight? That's what it's like. It's like Daffy Duck rejecting bullets.
Just saying, I miss 84.
That's all. That's all I'm saying. That was a year. Yeah, they just don't have the same thing anymore. They lost the luster now.
It's time to be alive.
So he joined the Army after that voluntarily and became a military policeman.
Okay.
So that's what he wanted to do, because he wanted to be a policeman when he got home.
Beautiful.
So after that, he came home. His parents run a country store in Gormania, and it's right across in Gormania, brother. It's Gormania country madness, brother. Country store madness. We got it all. Milk, eggs. Come to Gormania, brother.
Fresh tomatoes.
We got fresh tomatoes, brother.
Over here at Gormania.
Gormania. I'm taking Jimmy Whisman down. December the 21st. Gormania 44, brother.
Why did they bother?
So he's helping his parents run a country store, which is, by the way, one city block, quarter mile, basically, from the Old Mill restaurant where the Fords work.
Yeah.
So, everybody knows each other around here. So he knows them very well. Mm-hmm. So he's, happy to be in on the investigation. He also has a twin.
Oh, my God.
Which is he's got an identical twin, though.
Okay.
He's got an identical twin brother named David.
How does this even happen?
That's what I mean. Out of how many people are here? There's 300 people between the two towns, and we found these two people. They're both got twins. I don't know if it's the coal or the pollution. I don't know what's happening.
If it weren't for twins, there'd only be 64 people here.
That's the thing. Everybody's a twin. Right. That's how it works. That's a rule. If you ain't gotta have twins or you're out.
This is so weird.
Kick you out the holler.
That fucks up. You could say that twins happen one in every 20,000 or
whatever. Yeah.
Bullshit. It happened twice in 128 here.
But they were in Wilmington.
Oh, so great
they
point.
Moved here.
Yeah.
So we got to find out how many more sets. How many more sets of twins are there? Is what we need to know.
This is bizarre.
Anybody from Gormania around this time? How many sets of twins are there? Is it creepy? Does everyone have like a doppelganger?
Yeah.
I just saw you.
Right, you're walking down the street and you pass the same guy twice over and over and over.
You was working at the grocery store. I'll walk out, and now you're walking into the grocery store without your uniform on.
What the hell is happening?
How in the hell did you do that? That's amazing.
Well, you are fast.
You are fast. Did you sell me a car yesterday? You're pulling me over, give me a ticket today? That's super weird, man. How the hell did you do that? You told me it was fast. And now you're pulling me over. Some bitch.
Can't even outrun you.
God damn it. So January of 1988, Paul, this is the last week of January, Paul gets a job as a deputy with the Grant County Sheriff's Department. This is after he's been home a little while and running his parents' store. That seems to be okay, and now he can go do something else, and they're all set with their store.
Okay.
So he goes and becomes a deputy here, a deputy officer.
Right.
So he lives in a rented trailer that he gets right around the time he gets the job. He gets a job. He gets his own place, moves out. He had a couple trailers before this he was renting, but this is the one where he wanted to be. It's the good trailer here. He lives.
It's a good lot.
It is. It's near the Stony River,
okay,
which is just where you want to put your trailer.
It's where the trout are.
On a hill overlooking the Stony River so you can kayak on down it. So
it helps me get to the festival in the spring.
I mean,
it's real fast.
Just
coming home's a real bitch, dragging everything.
That's the hard part. That's the hard part.
You gotta try not to drink too damn much.
Yeah, it's uphill too. I'll tell you what, it's hard riding a bicycle uphill. Try kayaking. It don't work real well. You need the water to come with you.
Right.
The other way is hard.
Getting down, no problem.
No problem. You fly down. That's fun. You go through the air and go, woo, but then you leave a Gormania, brother, as you're flying. But then when you land, it's,
sober you right up.
Sober you right up.
Then you got to drag that shit up the hill.
It's with a thud. So Paul is settling down in his life now.
Right.
He's 31 years old. He's just got a job. That's a long-term job.
Sure.
A deputy in a sheriff county deputy. He's going to work he's going to drive around, give tickets for 20 years, and he's going to retire.
Hopefully not piss everybody off to where when I retire, they don't go, remember that time?
You son bitch.
You bastard.
There's a lot of you son bitch rolling around those parts. You son bitch. Nobody forgets.
Morning, Paul, you son bitch.
Son bitch. I remember. They don't even know what they remember anymore. They're just, I remember.
You're a dick to me.
There's only 120 people. They've all crossed each other at some point, I figure. It's impossible not to. So he's also in a serious relationship that he's been in for a couple of years with a local woman named Kathy Bernard, who has 2 children.
Another Kathy,
yeah, 2 Kathys. So she has 2 children, and she is, his age and everything like that. So rather than kind of starting a family from scratch earlier, he got himself a family with kids already. So
beautiful.
And he seems happy, and everyone goes, good for Paul.
Not twins.
Okay. Came home from the Army.
Yeah.
Got a job doing what he was doing in the Army, and now he's got a trailer and all this stuff. So he's dating this woman. He doesn't live with this woman, but he's been dating her for a while, and whatever. So he is one of 3 county officers investigating. There's a lot more than that. There's a bunch from Gorman. There's the Gormania force. There's West Virginia State and Maryland State Police looking.
Damn it.
It's this 19-year-old girl disappearing into thin air. They want to find her, and there's not a lot else going on around these parts. So somebody goes missing, that's a red ball. So they're letting him investigate as well, even though he has been on the job less than 3 weeks.
And also, you got ties to her. Let's not do it like that.
Well, on top of that, he hasn't been through the academy yet.
Oh.
He was hired 3 weeks ago, not hired from training.
Oh.
They hire you, you go around, and apparently they do it here because, I don't know, it's the middle of goddamn nowhere. I can't imagine this is the procedure in a city or anywhere with more than 120 people, but they hired him, said, okay, you're a sheriff's deputy. Here's the rules. Basically gave him a rule book, gave him a gun and a badge and a car.
Jeez.
He's got a sheriff's cruiser and a gun and a badge and said, there you go. And he's not scheduled to go to the academy till April.
Oh.
So
he did do 4 years of training in the service.
I think that's
probably what they're thinking.
They're thinking
right?
He knows how to handle a gun.
Right.
He knows how to do this. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know how to, the procedures and shit like that.
Right.
But they probably figure it's similar and better to have a body out there, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's not supposed to be there, but they're going to let him train on the job.
That's crazy.
It's on-the-job training, but to investigate a missing person?
Right. Don't do that.
I guess they need bodies to just look for. They're just looking for where's her car is the first thing they want to find. So
yeah, but in the event that they find it, what's the chances that some guy that's been on the case for 3 weeks
could mess
just
it up?
Fuck everything up?
He could grab things.
Yeah.
Is this blood on it?
You guys, I found the car.
Oh, damn it.
I test drove it. It's fine.
It's all right. It's pretty good. It was dirty inside, so I armor-rolled the steering wheel.
You wouldn't believe red shit all over it.
Fingerprints in the red shit. I was like, man, you put your fingers right in it. I armor-rolled it all up. Don't worry about it.
So I've been here smoking in it and just cleaning it up.
It's good now. I'm going to ask her what she wants for it if we ever find her, because this is a nice little car. I'd pick me up one of these.
The family want to resell this if they can't find her.
I'll tell you what.
Maximum dollar.
I could find a different one, but I already cleaned this one up. So, yeah, they're just sending here's a car and a gun. And
it's 2 years old. It's got like 4,000 miles on it. It's a waste.
Find her. There you go. No Academy. He wouldn't even know what all the buttons do in the car yet. Right. He's been there literally. He's going to do the windshield wipers and the sirens come on. He's like, oh, shit, damn it, wrong thing. Fuck, what happens here? He has no idea.
He's just driving down the road with
flicking switches and buttons.
Turn signals on and windshield wipers going.
Windshield wiper fluid squirting everywhere.
Windows going up and down.
Just pictured the trunk closing and opening, just everything happening.
In reverse.
For Christ's sake. Jesus Christ. I'm looking for a missing girl. Hold on. Goddamn window, will you shut? What the fuck does this switch do? This friggin'
thing sucks.
This friggin' thing. So also, they're doing, in addition to the people on the ground, they're doing aerial searches of the wood, because it's heavy woods around there. So there's no way to really
have a copter up.
Oh yeah, otherwise it's difficult. They have their private pilot. There's the medevac helicopter from the nearby hospital, because they're not using that a lot, so they just fucking send it around looking for her.
Oh my.
They need something, and if they find her, then they can drop the helicopter and pick her up. And
probably needs help.
I would assume she would need help if she's finding her in the woods after a week. So. But they couldn't find the missing vehicle. They're also over West Virginia State Police helicopter. They couldn't find anything. All sorts of aerial searches. People are on the ground.
Yeah.
Families looking. It's a all-out everything. So back to Paul here, Paul Farrell. So no formal on-the-job training. Good way to learn. This is some panhandle small-town shit right here.
Baptism by fire.
Yeah, this is when we do small-town murder, and we're like, we make fun of small-town police forces and small-town this. This is the shit where this is why.
Right.
They were like, he just, it's fine. He's good. I mean, I gave him a gun. He should be all right.
Qualified by me.
Oof. So now her father, Kathy Ford's father, the friggin' freight yard worker / restaurant owner, said that he even knew this guy because he worked a block away.
Right.
So he came in for lunch all the time. So everybody knows each other, and he's like, oh, it's nice to have somebody we know.
Sure.
They feel like they can get the inside dope from.
Yeah.
Like they feel like they're not being told everything. They'll be like, did you hear anything,
Also,
dude?
he does know her, so he has some reason to go find her.
Exactly.
It's very personal.
At that point, it's very personal. And Mr. Ford said he was one of only 3 Grant County deputies investigating the disappearance. And he said about Paul, quote, he never questioned me, but I understood he was working on the case. He did say that he knew Paul for a while and said he was, quote, heck of a nice guy.
Yeah.
Good guy there. Said he frequently bought lunch at the family restaurant, and because before he was a deputy, he was at the general store, and he did all of that. So, knew him well. He was happy he was on the job. He described him, he said he was like a casual acquaintance friend of my daughter's.
Yeah,
they weren't the same age or anything, so they just knew each other from the restaurant. He said, he said he was a nice guy. He'd see him walking around all the time with his German Shepherd.
Okay.
He'd just walk his German Shepherd around town when he wasn't working.
Is it a canine German Shepherd for the police force? It's just
he's one of those cop guys.
Yeah.
He's a cop guy, wants to be a cop, military police guy.
I'll fight Golden Gloves. I don't want a fucking Chihuahua.
You know what I mean? He's got his German Shepherd.
Yeah.
And he wants everybody to see him as very cop-like.
He's a tough man.
Yeah, he said, quote, he was a heck of a nice guy. He wasn't overly friendly, but he'd say hi to you and maybe pass the time of day with you.
Okay.
So, nice small-town fella. Now, after this disappearance of Kathy Ford, some things come to light of other phone calls that have been floating around town.
Okay.
Similar phone calls that other women have received.
Oh.
Women ranging from ages 19 to 35.
What?
All throughout this area. Yeah. So, the same day she disappeared, Kathy, 2 other women received telephone calls from a man saying they were a magistrate. The man, however, though, couldn't have been a real magistrate because at the time both the magistrates in Grant County, West Virginia were women.
Oh.
So he definitely wasn't a magistrate. from Grant County, West Virginia, whoever was calling saying he was.
Another benefit of living in a small town when you know who and what magistrate is.
You ain't Betty or Carol. Right. So, I mean, I know Betty and I know Carol. And you ain't either one of them.
Smoke, there's no way they sound like
They don't sound like you, sir. So at 10:50 a.m. that day of the disappearance, February 17th, Robin Tichnell received a call from a man claiming to be a West Virginia magistrate. The magistrate said that he was conducting an investigation of someone she knew and needed to question her at the Mount Storm Fire Hall sometime between 10 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Okay.
Weird.
A 5-hour window?
Yeah, anytime in there, I'll be there. So when she asked who or what the investigation concerned, he wouldn't tell her, so she refused to leave work to meet with him. She's like, well, if you're not going to tell me, I'm not going to come. Yeah. If you want to talk to me, you can come here and tell me whatever the fuck you want while I'm working, but I'm not going to lose money because you're an idiot.
Go out of my way.
Yeah. So she didn't meet him, and he responded that he would have to get in touch with her at a later date. Well, if you can't do it today, then I'll get a hold of you later on in the week and we'll work it out. So another woman received a strange invitation the same day, a woman named Rose Bosley, who was a part-time, she worked at the post office in Gormania, brother. Yeah. The Gormania post office is the site where it goes down, brother. Drop your letters to Santa in the box.
Better have exact change.
Exact change for stamps, brother. You came in here last week without exact change, Jimmy Whisman, and you're going to pay for it next week at Gormania.
I'm going to take the post out of your ass.
You owe me 4 cents. They went up. So this Juanita Bosley, the regular post person there, asked Rose to fill in for her while she made telephone calls to utility companies. So while she was there, while she went away, while she was filling in, a man telephoned a woman named Viola Knotts, who was an elderly woman who lived across the street from the post office, and asked the elderly woman to tell Rose Bosley to come and get her mail carrier, whose car had broken down between Bismarck and Cherry Ridge Road. So she said, hey, go tell Rose your carrier needs a ride. He's at the place that these other women were being told to go.
Right.
So very, very strange. So trying to get her to come there. But she knew better because the route in Gormania, the postal routes, wouldn't take the carrier on those roads. So they're like, yeah, our carrier doesn't go on those roads. So
somebody else's carrier. We're not wasting our time.
Ain't us. Yeah. Fuck them. So there's that.
I love people that do that. Just find a reason that it ain't your job.
Yeah, well, that ain't my job. I don't know. I could transfer you, but that's kind of a pain in the ass, too. So I'm just going to hang up.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's not us. Bye.
Hopefully you call back at somebody more helpful.
Love those people.
Less depressed and sad about their life. So they form a posse.
Okay.
A posse is formed, which is you don't feel happens in the 80s.
No.
When I was a kid in the 80s, I didn't feel any posses were being formed at the time.
No.
You know?
Apart from the one on Broadway with Mix-a-Lot, there weren't many posses.
Not a lot of posses happening. Yeah. So they form a posse, and they're all talking about all the rumors and all this shit. Police also say that in addition to those people, more than a dozen women in the area received similar calls from a man attempting to lure them to remote areas of Maryland and West Virginia.
That is fucking horrifying.
That is as frightening as you get.
Yeah.
Saying that you're this, that, and you get somebody who doesn't know better and they'll listen and they'll do it. Yeah. I mean, who knows? This is like I'm a Nigerian prince scam.
Right. You got to play the odds.
You throw out 100 of them, maybe one person bites on it. Who knows? It's an odds game. It's a numbers game. So this is really terrifying. So on the evening of February 26, 1988, this is 9 days after the disappearance, Paul Farrell, the deputy here, and 2 other officers met with a private citizen named Vonda Moreland who wanted advice on organizing a search party for Kathy. Because she was going to do a big official one rather than just everybody, let's figure out zones and sections to search. Because now it's just people walking around the woods. It's totally disorganized mess. It's literally her brother going around going, Kathy!
Right.
In the woods.
Then passing somebody else going, oh, hey, you're out here too? What are you doing out here? Oh, I'm looking for Kathy.
Yeah.
Well, I already searched back there. Where'd you search? And then you got to go through all that shit.
Exactly. So it makes sense. So about an hour and a half after the meeting, though, Paul Farrell, the deputy here, called Ms. Moreland and asked her if she could call off the search for about 48 hours because the officers had found some evidence and they didn't want people trampling around. Can you not have 50 people trampling around the woods because we have a pretty big area that we need to keep private and we don't have enough people to make a giant perimeter?
Understood.
There's going to be a fucking horde of people walking through our crime scene, possible crime scene. What are we going to do? But Ms. Moreland was unable to get a hold of enough people. This is pre-cell phones.
Yeah.
So you're basically, if you can get a hold of one person, tell as many people as you can. But if they're walking around the woods, you can't find them.
If they're already out, then
that's it. They're out.
When they come home, we'll tell them don't do it tomorrow.
Yeah, never mind. Good? So she couldn't reach enough people to call off the search. And Paul Farrell later on called back and said, "Did you get did you get the search called off?" And she told him that she had not been able to get the search called off. So he said, "Okay, no problem. The search the next day, go ahead and search around, but stay away from these areas." Basically, can you just tell everyone to stay away from these areas is where the cops are doing their work. He says, stay away from the Bismarck and Cherry Ridge Roads areas. That's where they said the mail carrier had been broken down. So some connections starting to happen. So when asked why they shouldn't search these roads, he explained that they found evidence on these roads, and we don't need you to search there because there's cops there with evidence. So
we found that.
Yeah, that's our job. Now you do that. Well, their job, sort of my job, kind of, but still. Family wants her back. They want to find Kathy. She's their treasure, and they want to find her. So Mrs. Ford, the mother here, Rosalie, she said, "I'm going on the assumption that somebody knows something and then that they're not telling me. Kathy would not have left without telling me where she was going or without trying to contact me." She said, if it's money they want, let us know. More important, let us know Kathy's all right and what they want from us so we can get her back safely. Yeah, I would say so. Her brother also says, "I just wish I knew anything that was going on, anything. Just let me know that Kathy's okay. That's all I want." So they're willing. What do you want? We'll give you. We don't care. I don't care who you are, what you did to give us our daughter back, as any parent would feel.
Right.
This is,
Patty Melt's gone to shit around here. We need her back.
We need her back for a lot of reasons.
Her brother, you heard him say, "I don't know what's going on around here." He means the fucking grill.
He doesn't know how to work it.
He has no idea.
He hasn't. He's been cooking everything in a frying pan.
So
it's
bad
really
at this.
It's terrible. The whole place is full of smoke. Get her back. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. The most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great, great. Keep doing that. But if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So, yeah, they're obviously anybody. I have a 19.
Oh, it's got to be.
My daughter just turned 19.
Yeah.
If she goes places, I don't want her to disappear into nothing. So this is very like, oh, God, I don't want this to happen.
Sure.
So her boyfriend, Darvin Moon, he works at in a sawmill in Gorman.
Yeah.
So him with his father put out a $5,000 reward for information concerning her whereabouts. A $2,500 reward is offered for information concerning the location of the silver Ford Bronco.
Okay.
So $5,000 for her, $2,500 for the car.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just
$7,500 in body and vehicle.
Yeah, and that's 1988. That's a lot more money, and especially in this part of the world,
that's a shitload of money.
That's a shitload of money. That's
you can
a lot
buy
of money.
An acre of land for $6,000
with
today.
A fucking stream now. So back then, that this is different. You could buy land with $7,500. So March 8th, 1988, there is people look and they see smoke. They heard that smoke had been seen hanging over the river on February 17th. They had a rumor of that someone saw smoke in this part of the river on February 17th, the day of the disappearance, or around then. So they search around this area due to these rumors. This is what the newspaper calls, quote, an old-fashioned posse of neighbors. That's some... They're armed.
Yeah.
They're fucking armed,
shotguns.
man. Including the deputies, Farrell, the brothers, the father, the mother, the cousins, the aunts, the uncles.
Yeah.
Gary Ford, who's her brother, and her boyfriend, Darvin Moon, they end up coming upon and finding her vehicle. They find the Ford Bronco. It's in a remote wooded area. That's never good.
No.
Near US 50, a few feet from the Stony River where smoke had been seen kind of hanging on, smoking on the water type of deal, in West Virginia, right across the Maryland border, in Gormania, brother, or around Gormania. So they find the car. The problem is it has been burned and burned bad. The car's completely torched. They examined it. The interior was gutted by fire, and so any evidence in there would have been burned to a crisp. The tires were melted.
Wow, it really got
burning the whole thing. It's just a black heap of a fire. It's a mess here. It's been determined that the blaze was intentionally set.
Of course.
No car burns that much naturally. No. It's a part of it'll burn, it'll go out. Cars aren't meant to be real flammable.
Right.
They're not made to, ignite into flames and stay lit. It's not a Duraflame log with wheels. It's a fucking car. They don't want it to be flammable.
And apart from a Corvair or a Pinto where the
explosions happen,
the Ford Bronco is pretty safe.
It's a pretty safe it used to roll, I remember, but it didn't explode when it rolled over, so that's helpful.
That's just because rednecks lifted them to unbelievable heights for no reason.
Then took dirt corners too fast and wondered why tires came out from under them.
A short wheelbase, ridiculous vehicle.
It is. So they got every physical piece of anything they could get out of the truck and sent it to the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Laboratory for analysis.
Okay.
So they were wondering, if they can find anything. Oh man, this is wild. The frame was blackened from the flames. Yeah. Her brother Rich said that he and Darvin Moon began looking in the area after a friend told him that a woman reported seeing smoke on the Stony River the day his sister disappeared. He said, quote, she said she had seen, she called it a haze along the river. That's why we kept looking around Mount Storm, which is where they have all the festivals there. I figure if the motive was to do away with her, they'd have put her in the Bronco and burned her in it. That's why my feelings are, that's what my feelings are too. This is Rosalie, the mom. That's, that she's alive and being held hostage somewhere, for some reason or another. I felt that she's not too far from here, but we just don't know where. We've just searched everywhere. We've been in all the buildings. We even went into the cemetery and looked around.
Oh my.
These people are just, I can't imagine. They don't sleep. They eat like a fucking sandwich while they're trudging through the woods. Like these people are This is horrible.
Yeah.
This is a horrible way to fucking live. This is terrible. She said this is Gary, the brother, quote, "There's a lot of suspicion around here. It makes you think, how will I feel about this person next week? Things like this happen in small towns all over the United States. It's not that uncommon. It just happened to us." So there you go. That's small town murder right there in a nutshell. So the vehicle had been burned, like we said, and we'll tell you where exactly here. The detectives said they were confident that someone with vital information in the case who has yet to come forward will come forward. They said that they set up a private hotline to field confidential calls in case people are uncomfortable. That's always good. They received 18 or 19 calls, but none of the callers offered specific information about the whereabouts. It's just rumors and innuendo and bullshit. He said there might be women who received suspicious calls who went to meet the male caller, saw something, and just drove on by. Because if that many people, they might have pulled up, felt this isn't right, saw some guy standing by himself in the corner in the woods and was like, never mind. Who the fuck did you see?
Right.
Ooh, did you get a license plate?
Give us anything.
Anything. So it's possible that if they did respond, she might be able to offer anything. So a meeting spot, anything where there might be evidence. This is an officer said, "I do think the person is familiar with the area because of the knowledge he had of the people he called, and the location of the vehicle itself is very remote. You'd have to know how to get there."
Bronco alone is enough to give you that.
Yes. Weird thing is the down by the river ends up being less than 100 yards away from a trailer. Trailer that is being rented by Deputy Paul Farrell. That's where they find the truck.
How do you
70 with less than 100 yards away down a hill by the bank of the river, and his is up on top of a hill. Maybe he's out looking for shit. So so that's interesting there. But yeah, they're confident. Now they look into the phone calls a little more. According to everything here, each of the calls was made from a telephone in an apartment in Gormania, brother. Here, law enforcement officers, they're looking into this. After they find the car, they're suspicious of everything now because they know that the car's been burned. So what they end up doing is they end up looking inside the trailer and doing a little research. They find out the phone calls, a lot of them were coming from an apartment in Gormania that Paul sometimes shared with his twin brother Dave.
Oh, what the fuck?
Who's a student at Allegheny Community College.
Did he not know about phone tracing?
Yeah. So inside the trailer, they look because they're like, that's pretty close. We should probably look in his trailer. He gave, go ahead, go search my trailer, knock yourselves out. Inside the trailer, they discover blood stains on the floor underneath newly laid carpet and on the walls underneath a brand new coat of paint.
He's not good at this.
New carpet and new paint is kind of that's not great. Yeah, the sheriff before that had said, it indicates to me that the perpetrator is familiar with the community because he knows people by name. The perpetrator sounds on the phone very professional and convincing, and he has a good line of communication. He's been here for a while. He has had to have been. So there's that. So they're still looking for Kathy, though, and they're still... They found blood, but they don't know what it is. It could be.
Don't stop looking.
And he's only been there for 2 months in the trailer, so he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah. I just moved in. Yeah. When someone rents something, a lot of times they paint and put fucking new carpets down. That's part of rental a lot of times. So they're not real suspicious of him, even though they find blood and there's a car down there, but it's still very circumstantial.
And when you buy a place or rent a place, you're under the impression that you have a lot of people's stuff in there.
You would think so, yeah. So they keep looking. They were looking around Backbone Mountain, searching also.
Okay.
Rosalie, the mother, refuses to give up. She's got her high school portrait on the lunch counter, looking for clues still. She said, quote, I believe she is still alive. I won't give up. It's a mother's intuition that I have. So she's pressing on hardcore, and everybody else is still searching, and they're searching hard still. Now they're searching even harder since they found a burned-out car.
Sure.
They know that she just didn't drive to California or something, so that's a problem. So they talk a lot about the phone calls. They know the phone calls are the key to this, to investigate.
That's a big deal, yeah.
Yeah, so March 19th, 1988, after they do a little more investigation, they end up arresting Paul Farrell.
Really?
Yeah, they take his gun and his car away and they arrest him. They arrest him in the apartment where he sometimes stayed, where the calls were made from. Yeah. That's where they find him. They bring him to the county jail. Now, if we go over this, let's do this. Let's see what kind of evidence they had to arrest him on. The Bronco was found in it's a very remote area. His trailer isn't there's not a trailer park. Yeah. It's a fucking lone trailer on top of a hill that goes down to the river, and there's the car burned out 75 yards from his house. Not good.
Wow.
Authorities also say they found a cigarette butt of the type that Kathy smoked and a watch similar to hers in his trailer.
Ooh.
Not good.
No.
Farrell admitted that the two at this point had been secret lovers, he said. Yeah. Now he said they've had a relationship for a long time, and he's got a girlfriend, she's got a boyfriend, so they kept it secret, but they've been banging hard.
Okay.
For a fucking while now. He said that's what's going on. Also, blood in the trailer. Also, blood in the cargo area of the four-wheel drive sheriff's cruiser assigned to him as well.
Yeah.
So in there, on March 11th, 1988 is when they questioned him after getting his search of the trailer permission. And they found out at that point that he had replaced the carpeting in the bedroom. So they end up finding tiny blood spatters in various places on walls, mirrors, ceiling.
Jesus.
Everywhere in his bedroom. Blood spatter all over the place. Blood had also dripped through the crack between two tiny sections of plyboard to a floor joist underneath.
Jesus, it got deep.
That's a lot of blood is what that is. That's heavy amount of blood.
That's not a drop.
No. Blood was also found on a piece of material in a garbage as well. Mm-hmm. So the FBI was able to identify some of the blood as human, and the blood type was not consistent with the blood of a child of the victim's parents. So that blood, of one of the blood in the wastebasket, didn't belong to her. Okay. Also, a cigarette butt, like we said, was found, and the cigarette was smoked by someone also, so they don't know that. So anyway, March 20th is when they arrest him. March 25th is when they find the wristwatch of the same type. There's no inscription or anything to know, but it's the same fucking watch.
Same swatch she has.
Yes, that Rosalie, or that Kathy had received from her father. They find it. It's where they find it that's the thing. Oh. They find it near a small burn area behind the mobile home.
Oh, no.
So that looks like you're trying to hide it there, Chief. After the disappearance, it came out about all the different phone calls. There were two sets of phone calls they found out now. Yeah. This isn't a new thing. The first set was made between September 28th, 1987 and late November 1987. The second set between February 1st and February 17th, 1988. This is what he does. From September 14th to November 27th, 1987, he had rented a mobile home on the Bayard-Wilson Corona Road between September 28th, 87 and late November 87. Several women in Grant County, West Virginia, and nearby Garrett County, Maryland, received unusual phone calls from a man who directed them to various locations near the trailer on Bayard-Wilson Corona Road.
Oh, boy.
So not good, including the trailer itself and a garage building near the trailer.
Why?
He's been trying to lure women to that.
To the house.
To the house. And he figured, why am I doing that? Shit, that's not smart. So he posed as various people.
I am a magistrate, James, and I'm going to need you to come over to Paul's house. Not mine, but I need you to go to Paul's house.
There's this guy named Paul. You don't want to talk to him.
Why would he do that?
Now, he also posed as various other people, including a magistrate, a police officer, a doctor, a passing motorist.
Yeah.
All the recipients were attractive women between the ages of 19 and 35.
I need you.
So he knows what he's doing.
I'm the doctor. You don't remember you came to see me?
Yeah. You know, I have your test results. I need you to come in with all your clothes off. It's crazy. A young woman said that later on that she knew it was him that called her, and that he had asked for her sister's phone number at work. Her sister's phone number was later found written on the cover of a phone book in the living quarters of Mr. Farrell, of Paul and his brother in there. So this is all connected.
He is so dangerous.
This is very dangerous. This is,
my God,
Ted Bundy level scary here. Worse, kind of, because he's not just finding a chick in a parking lot and being like, I'm going to pop a cast on and trick her.
Yeah.
He's got a chart and a strings connecting the things.
Diagramming the whole thing out.
This is sick.
Calculated.
This is sick. It's a military operation,
but it's not gross. It's not under wraps, though. It's just out in the open.
No. If this was legal, he'd be the best at it. That's the thing. He'd be great at it. But unfortunately for him, it's not. So it's above the Ferrell's Mart in Gormania. The telephone there was a private one listed under the name of Paul Ferrell, and he used the phone to make many of his calls. January 21st, 1988 is when he rented the mobile home off Bismarck Road, and from February 1st, 1988 to February 17th, several young women in the area received strange phone calls in which a man purporting to be someone other than Paul Ferrell, never Paul, directed them to the area near Mr. Ferrell's trailer on Bismarck Road. Similar calls were made earlier to a man who had directed young women to the other trailer part. So this is all lining up. It gets weirder. Okay. This is fucking crazy. Paul Ferrell made a regular practice of posing as someone while calling people on the phone to get them to do things for them, not just to get them to come to him, okay? For a long time now, Paul Ferrell made numerous phone calls to bookstores and libraries across the country.
What?
It gets weirder, Jimmy. Bookstores and libraries, of course, across the country. Where 206 to be exact.
Oh my!
This isn't a Walden Books over here and a Barnes and Noble and fucking Huntington. This is 206 stores.
This is all of them.
And libraries.
This is every one of them.
Pretty much. Yeah. He posed as a doctor when he called. Okay. This is insane.
Okay.
What do you think he's called? After what I just said, he calls bookstores and libraries posing as a doctor. What do you think I'm going to say? What's his scam?
I'm in the middle of an
abortion. What's his scam?
Could you find me this book and tell me what's the next step?
You know what? That would almost be better than what he did.
At least it'd be funny. You know what I mean? This is not a prank call. What is he doing?
He called posing as a very serious doctor, by the way. Not a prank call.
No.
Seeking information on anal sex and anal stimulation.
What?
Okay. He tried to, this is what he would try to do.
Yeah.
He would try to get a female employee or librarian to read to him.
Oh, Jesus, that's so gross.
Pages 177 and 178 of the new Our Bodies Ourselves book. Okay, now.
It's hot to him, and he needs a woman to say it so we can tug while she reads it.
Our Bodies Ourselves are like shit that you give to teenagers so they like know that why their armpits stink now and that, you know, why jizz is coming out of them. So they make it for both people.
When they touch too long.
Yes. Now, this is the new Our Bodies Ourselves, released in 1984, this volume that he's talking about.
This is the hot one.
This one's, well, it's got apparently full of anal sex and anal stimulation.
Right.
Now, this is impossible to find a PDF of online or a Kindle or anything like that. So I ordered this fucking book. Praying it would be here by yesterday.
Oh, no.
And it didn't get here.
God damn it.
So I don't know what's on pages 177 and 178 of the new Our Bodies Ourselves.
Yeah.
Besides probably a lot of shit about your butthole. That I do know.
Next week, you're going to know.
So please, anyone out there, we have hundreds of thousands of listeners. If any of you somehow have the 1984 edition, very important, just 84 edition of the new Our Bodies Ourselves. Please, for the love of God, take a picture of pages 177 and 178 and tell me what the fuck was turning this guy on so much.
I hope that we have a doctor that listens to this that happens to have that book sitting on his shelf somewhere.
Someone's got that book. Somebody's it's the female version. There's a male and a woman version. This is the female version. Somebody tell me, please.
What is he whacking
What the fuck is he whacking to? Somebody's mom gave that to him, or like a gym teacher or something in 1985. Someone's got this book in an attic somewhere.
So he probably read it.
Or it's in libraries too.
Yeah, he probably read it and was like, if a woman read this to me, I can't imagine how hard I'm going to be.
I'm going to come hard. And that's what
206 times he called library.
206 times. His quotes on it.
It doesn't run off.
His quotes on it are amazing, by the way, of what he says about it. It's wild. Wait, we'll get to it. But so some of the employees read it to him.
Really?
Some of them were like, they're like 17-year-old kids that work in a bookstore, and they're like, oh, a doctor called. They need me to read something, and it's very important. Meanwhile, they're like, you know, he's whacking it on the other end. It's disgusting.
Down. Read it slower.
Yeah, no, go back. I didn't hear that part. From the top again.
Start over.
Disgusting. So other people wouldn't. They'd refuse. They'd say, that's gross. Fuck you. You're, hang up on him. So he'd go, be call the next one. There's a lot of bookstores, a lot of libraries.
206 times.
206 times. So one employee testified later on here that she heard heavier breathing as the conversation went on. And said, quote, it was like the anticipation of hearing. Another person who the doctor called later said that the caller noticed when the employee missed a paragraph on page 177 and asked if she would go back and read it. You missed paragraph 2. That's the one I really like about it's extra gross.
Get back to you skipped milk in the prostate.
You skipped
Get
it.
back there.
Slowly. But now you got to read it at half speed. That's disgusting. So when they asked him about the calls, the police, they said, hey, what's up with all these calls? He said that he made the calls from his girlfriend's residence and from the living quarters up there. He says that he frequently posed as a doctor during these calls because he found it a very easy way to get the information he wanted that way.
Yeah.
He could just con people. Wait till you hear the quotes. They're amazing.
God.
But we're still working on evidence, and then we'll get to his quotes. So we're still building the evidence now. That's not out at all. The magistrates, they found out that obviously he wasn't a magistrate and there was no male magistrates. Well, a Grant County magistrate is usually on duty at a satellite office at the Mount Storm Fire Hall on Wednesdays, sometime between 10:30 and 11 a.m. on Wednesday, February 17th, 1988, which is when she disappeared. The magistrate and her assistant observed Paul Farrell using the public payphone outside of the office.
Oh, my God.
Right then. The magistrate told her assistant that the man talking on the phone outside was their new deputy sheriff. So they're not suspicious of anything. He's probably calling whoever. Paul Farrell had just started there, obviously, and he went into the truck bay area of the fire hall where a phone available to the public was located, and then remained there a while and left.
He would be BTK in Omaha.
Oh, God, yes, he would.
His biggest flaw and
everyone knows who he is.
Right. Is doing this in a town where everybody knows him.
Yeah. If he was in a city, he would be fucking dangerous.
A chameleon.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dangerous here, but
right.
I mean, he could have, imagine how many women he could have lured here.
It.
There's more evidence. Mm-hmm. From the room in the family store where the telephone was located, Mr. Farrell here could see people come and go from the post office and could also see another place here. He was also within sight of the restaurant where she worked, Kathy. Kim Nelson lived in a trailer, and the trailer nearest to his trailer on the same driveway off the Bismarck Road. They're still far away, but that's a neighbor there. But she didn't know Paul Farrell because he was new to the area. She said that between 1 and 2 p.m. on February 17th, banging and, quote, terrified screams came from Mr. Farrell's trailer for about a minute, followed by a gunshot.
Oh, no.
So that's a lot to take in. Now, a man then drove out in a light blue car after that, which is not her car. Later on, she will identify from a photograph that it was Paul Farrell's car that she has observed departing, not the cruiser. The man drove back in 1.5 hour later and then drove out again later in the afternoon, at which she saw a side view of the driver, and it was him. February 18th, she saw the same man burning something out in the back of Paul Farrell's rented trailer. Well, it's not good. She then learned that the man's name when she recognized Paul Farrell's picture in the newspaper after his arrest. She's like, oh, that must be Paul Farrell. That's the guy I see out there. So, February 18th, he ripped out and burned carpeting from the master bedroom of his trailer, replacing it with new carpeting the following day. He claimed he did this because of dark stains and dead animal odor. Yeah. However, his girlfriend, Kathy Bernard, visited the trailer on February 14th, Valentine's Day. They were in the bedroom, and she had not noticed any stains on the master bedroom carpet.
But she was busy reading 179 through 181.
She was, 77, 178. Nor any odors. Mr. Farrell's landlord also had not noticed any stain or odors in the trailer on January 21st when he did a walkthrough with him. Okay. So Paul demonstrated concern about the disappearance of Kathy Ford, which is normal. So did the rest of the town. Kathy Bernard, on February 20th, his girlfriend, asked him if he had heard about Kathy Ford's disappearance. You hear about that girl disappearing? Right. Paul said that he had heard about it, that he knew who Ms. Ford was, and that he was afraid that people might suspect him or his brother of involvement in the disappearance. He was afraid because Ms. Ford was last seen heading in the direction of Mount Storm, where he lives. Right. So that's a pretty weird fear to have. Yeah. She was driving toward my town. Okay. Right. So on Sunday, February 21st, his girlfriend here, Kathy Bernard, before washing Paul Farrell's clothes, found a note in a pocket that a note that dealt with two people posing as a young couple and setting someone up by using a fake identification card. Okay. When she asked Paul about the note, he seemed concerned and explained that someone from the liquor board was going around to various places in the area to try to get them to sell liquor to minors, and that the note had something to do with that.
Yeah.
So, also, he had manifested an obsession with Kathy Ford's disappearance. So he told his girlfriend, said, "What the fuck are you so obsessed with this for?" He said that he knew her well, and they had been intimate about a year before he met his girlfriend here. So he's like, because I used to bang her. That's why.
My ex-girlfriend.
It's my ex-girlfriend. However, David, Paul's brother, the twin, said that that he knew nothing about anything between Kathy Ford and his brother, and if Paul had an affair with her, he would have known about it.
Right.
Trust me.
He talks a lot.
And we're twin brothers. Right. He tells me shit. So the Ford Bronco was last seen driving right along the Stony River off Bismarck Road. Directly across the river from the Bronco and running parallel to Bismarck Road ran Cherry Ridge Road. Paul Farrell could reach the spot where the Bronco was burned without going to a main road.
Really?
Yes. His driveway led to a seldom traveled road that led to the site of the burned Bronco.
Right to it.
God
damn it.
The jury is obviously going to look at that. And he also discouraged the search, because that's where it fucking was. He told them not to search there. February 29th, he made a collect call from Uniontown, Pennsylvania to his girlfriend, Kathy, in which he asked her to call the Ford family to say Kathy Ford was all right.
Why?
Call them and tell them she's all right.
Yeah.
When asked pardon?
Yeah.
I mean,
was you?
Wouldn't you say, why the fuck would I do that?
I don't know that.
I don't know that. When asked to, clarify, he said that he asked her to make the calls claiming she was Kathy Ford.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Yeah, Paul told, this is fucking crazy. He asked her to call saying she was Kathy Ford and that she's all right because he wanted to slow down the investigation so that his telephone calls might not be discovered. That's the reason why. March 2nd, Kathy Ford's parents received a letter in the mail, postmarked in Pittsburgh, February 29th, 1988. This is fucking crazy. Wow. A letter mailed from Uniontown would be postmarked Pittsburgh, apparently. So that's where it was. The letter says this, quote, "The only crime here was we had to get rid of the old man's Bronco right away. Kathy is 19, an adult, and we had to leave fast. We came into some dangerous money, so here is some money on the Bronco. More will follow. She will call you when she feels it's safe to do so. We're heading where I can get some work. Kathy made me write you so you would not worry. She had to get away from Moon," Darvin Moon, the boyfriend, "the restaurant, and certain people. We keep the money, her green bank bag. Tell Moon to leave us alone." Okay, that's the note. And in the note was $200 cash. That was
down payment on the
Bronco.
Right.
Yeah. So Richard Williams, who's an FBI handwriting expert, will say that the letter and envelope were both written by Paul Farrell.
Of course.
His handwriting, obviously. $200 and $20 bills. Oh, by the way, that same day the letter was mailed, he had withdrawn $200 from his savings account. So, in cash from the bank and $20 bills.
Right.
So the reaction to this, as you might imagine, people are like, what the she disappears, she's gone, we don't know where she is, and we're arresting a cop?
Right.
In a small town, this is, heads are blowing up here. Obviously, people are losing it about this shit here. 200 people are fucking crazy. One of the Larry Hours, who we'll hear a lot from, he's a county sheriff in West Virginia in Grant County. He says, more rumors than you can shake a stick at.
Of course.
Apparently nobody knows what or whom to believe. He said, we don't know how to cope with it. That's it there. And a Maryland waitress who didn't want to give her name said, quote, "You hate to see people take sides in a small area. You can't talk bad about your neighbors, and you feel sorry for both families. This will tear us apart."
Who would take the side?
There's
was that evidence?
Small towns are so like, well, we don't want to take sides and get in any arguments or nothing, so we're just going to stay out of it.
Have y'all heard of the Hatfields and McCoys? That shit lasts a while.
It's weird. Here's one of his, quote, one of Farrell's bowling buddies.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a big bowler, like a league bowler. He loves it.
So, squad coming out.
You need your bowling buddies to talk well about. If they talk bad about you, you're done. He said, quote, "He has a hell of a good personality and he would do anything for a person." He said, "If the police were to ask us for a character reference, I'd have to say there's no way he did do it." So
I thought you were going to mention his ball. or his strike.
I'll tell you what.
He has one hell of an average, that boy. No way he did that.
The little splits, like you got a like a 7.9. That's a pain in the ass, right? But it's doable.
He can get him.
He is like money with those. He bounces up off the back, pow, done everything. I don't know how the hell he does it, boy. But I'll tell you what,
he has got one hell of.
He raised his average to a 223 this year, and he's going to lead the team. Man, I'm real disappointed.
He said personality. I thought he was going to say average.
Yeah, that's where I was going next. So they all said, oh, we love him. Here's another, this is from the postmaster, Juanita Bosley, who we heard from. Quote, everybody is upset because the girl is missing, and then we find out they suspect a boy from here to have done it. It makes it a double tragedy. Oh, boy. Paul Farrell's mother came in yesterday and said, quote, my Paul did not do that. I told her, maybe your Paul didn't do that, but if he did, he is sick and he needs help. That's what she said. Well, yeah, obviously. Up to that point, everybody in town has been a suspect. You just don't know. It's sad. Very sad.
Right. Well, they don't want it to be
mystery.
Somebody from around there, but you also don't want it to be somebody that just came through.
At least that you can wrap your head around.
That's
your neighbor,
horrifying.
Your neighbor who's on the police force, you can't wrap your head around that.
I'd rather wrap it around that, I think.
Yeah.
Because then, at least, something's safe once they get that guy. Because there's no way that happens again.
That's what I'm saying.
But somebody just passing through, that shit can happen again.
That can happen, but people don't want it to be their neighbors. Here's Paul's boss on the police force here, Hours. He said, right now, it doesn't look good for Paul. Or, I'm sorry, right now, it don't look good for Paul. Is the way he said it, the exact quote. We're still continuing the investigation along with various other police departments. We are going to keep on this thing as long as it takes. Anytime a police officer is possibly involved in a crime, it just doesn't make that particular police department look bad. It makes all the police departments look bad. It's a black mark on the Grant County Sheriff's Department. I hope people don't feel that the whole department is responsible. Well, maybe you shouldn't have given a fucking guy with a...
Yeah.
No, without going through the academy, a gun and a car, but I think he would have done this without the gun or the car. I don't think that was his main issue.
Maybe look at his phone records once in a while.
I don't think his badge was the thing that made him do this. He was just one of those. John Douglas in Mindhunter talks about the wannabe cop type is a serial killer archetype.
It's a bad man.
The guys, they drive a cop car, an auction cop car. They have German. He'll even say they will have a German Shepherd type police dog. They'll have this type of car. Yeah. They describe this guy to a fucking T. Except normally this guy doesn't get on the police force.
Right.
Normally this is the guy who gets bounced out in psychological tests.
Yeah.
He's not physically up to it. There's something.
When he pulls up in the retired police cruiser, they go, "Oh no, position's been filled."
Oh, we're good. Yeah, with his gut hanging out.
Right.
This is a different thing. This is like a small town, so he actually got on the police force, and he actually had built his whole life up for this and actually did all the things necessary to do it.
Small towns see that guy and go, "Oh, he is ready."
Yeah,
and also got to train him.
He was the basketball star in high school, and then he went off to the army, and he was a military police. Oh, we're lucky to have him. Right. That's the way they look at it.
That guy that sawed chicks' heads off here and threw the bodies in the canals. That's what he drove. Was a retired police car.
That's the most common thing.
Nutty guys.
I think the snipers, DC sniper.
Yes, they had one.
That's one of the most common things. It's all the police things. They're wannabe cops.
Yeah.
They want to hang out with cops. They hang out at cop bars. Those guys. It's all the same shit.
Fascinating.
So he's one of these guys. So then they said that Hours said that he found no reason not to hire Farrell after he conducted a routine background check. It doesn't include phone records.
Right.
And how many librarians have you whacked off to in the last month? That's not a question they ask in the interview.
It's rarely a hot chick at the library.
He just wants a female voice.
He just needs a
voice.
Doesn't care.
And
then you check for polyps.
Hold on a minute here. Wait, I missed my page. Let me lick my finger. What? I licked my finger.
Say it again.
Licked my finger. So
yeah, you did.
Hours said, we checked his background. The whole Farrell family on the mountain is respected. He had never been arrested, had no criminal record. He was a veteran and earned a good conduct medal. So we had no reason not to hire the fucking guy. Everybody on the mountain respected him. In the investigation, back to that, body still can't find Kathy. No, not alive or dead or anything. They're looking for her. Can't find her. Her father, Richard C. Ford Jr., says that, he's just beside himself. He said that it's ridiculous. He said they met the FBI investigators to get an update on the case. He said the investigators were tight-lipped about the evidence and, they didn't know what to do. He said investigators have no clue about the location of the body. Oh, no. He said, quote, all they would say is they have sufficient evidence to arraign him for murder. So he's like, so does that mean she's dead?
Yeah.
What the fuck? So then after that, he says, quote, the next day he says, quote, I know she's dead. There's no doubt about that now. I know better. Yeah. So that's the father. He's heard about blood, and he's heard about a burned car.
Yeah.
He's heard about the screams and the blood.
Daughters don't just run away.
That's the thing. Not knowing that they're this concerned. Not her, too. She's very responsible and cared about her family and wasn't a flighty person.
Mad involved.
Very. He says, quote, we're still searching for her body, but we found nothing at all. That's about all I could say right now. March 25th, 1988, he's still in jail. Farrell, he is one of 8 inmates at the county jail, which holds 18 prisoners.
Okay.
So this is like Andy Griffith.
Right.
There's probably like a key ring hanging on a nail, and some guy's got a broomstick trying to knock it down and shit.
Holding the bone.
Yeah, holding the bone. Whistling like Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. He's being kept in a cell separate from other inmates, though. They want to separate him.
Sure.
Says, now March 25th, 88 also, this is when he's due for his hearing. He's going to be arraigned and indicted, and he is arraigned and indicted. The prosecutor said that there's a lot of unique facts in this situation because they're trying him for murder with no body.
Great point.
It's a hard thing to do.
In a small town.
In 1988.
Oh, my God.
It's a lot harder to, with no DNA.
I'm so scared, James.
Yeah, there's been a few items of physical evidence that have been turned over to various labs, but since then, nothing major has been discovered. All we can do now is present our case to the grand jury and do the rest. April 25th, 1988, Paul is freed on $100,000 bail.
Oh, boy.
This guy walking the street scares me at all, because now he's going to be trying to clean up loose ends, and I don't like that. Any women or anybody's got buried somewhere. Who knows what this fucking guy did.
Sure.
So Paul, let's get some quotes from Paul. Let's find out
wants to talk.
What kind of an asshole he is. Yeah. This is later on. Let's see. He says, quote, I did not kill Kathy Ford. I never hurt her in any way. They don't have evidence that I did. They have evidence that I made some mistakes, and I have admitted here that I did make some mistakes, but I never killed Kathy Ford or harmed her in any way.
Okay.
Now, they asked him about calls, basically, phone calls and shit like that.
I heard about some libraries, Paul?
That's later. Well, they asked him about Kathy, how well do they know each other? And he said, quote, we loved calling, hanging out together, because of our backgrounds and the fact that we both run businesses for our families, and they're both twins. Yeah. And we talk a lot about how people irritate us. We talk about that, and she has a lot of plans, but she could really not do anything either because she was stuck there running the store for her family. Her family really depended on her. So they said, what about page 177 and 178? What's up with that?
What about that?
And he says, quote, it was a phone sex type thing to me. Yeah. He was just
my God, Paul. You can't say this shit.
It had nothing to do with her and me, and what it would be more the same as calling a phone sex number. Just I couldn't afford a credit card. Couldn't afford a credit card. Right. He was like, $2.99 a minute. Shit, I'm calling the library. There's a book with some anal shit in it that really turns me on. What's that number here?
I just need an old broad to read it to me.
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
I look back, and it is wrong, but it was just something that had nothing to do with Kathy Ford or anything.
Wrong?
It's predatory sexual behavior, which only gets worse. So, not terrific.
Wrong is a real small phrase to be describing that as. Fucked up, weird, batshit, fucking what?
Mad. It's friggin' messed up is what it is. Friggin' weird.
Friggin' creepy as shit.
Friggin' creepy. So they asked him what about stopping the search? And he said, quote, my idea was to stop the search for the vehicle to avoid someone from going in there and finding the vehicle in my backyard. Well, no fucking shit.
Right.
Thanks for the simple answer. He said, or finding what I thought maybe a body back there too. I just panicked. He said, I did an irrational thing. I don't think it says guilt or anything else, but it was just something looking back I don't have a real good explanation for, just that I panicked.
You knew that the truck was there. You knew that she was missing.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
He didn't want her to be back there because then he said they'll all blame me.
Okay.
That's what it was. So they said, well, what about the blood in the trailer? And he says, Jesus. They said, quote, we found blood in your trailer, Mr. Farrell. What have you got to say about that? It's all over the place. Buckets of blood in there. And I said, my reaction was bewilderment. I said, well, maybe somebody cut their finger. I didn't know what they were talking about. Maybe a speck here. I said the trailer was 8 years old. Maybe there was a speck or something.
Cut their finger.
Leaked down to the floor joist.
Yeah.
The fucking floor joist. That means that's like enough blood to seep.
That's not cutting a finger. That's losing an arm.
Yeah, that's an artery is open. That night, that night that he, after the killing, or after supposedly the February 17th here, 8:30 that night, Paul met up with his friends at the local bowling alley, and there he heard a woman had been calling and asking for him. Yeah. I'm sorry, this is the day before.
Got it.
He's talking about. I'm sorry, no, it's that day he's claiming. This is what happened. He's claiming.
Day of the murder?
Day of the murder, he's claiming this. This is all his claim. He goes, I went to hang out. They said there was a woman on the phone. He said, I went over there to a payphone and made a call, and Kathy Ford answered real quickly there and started saying that she wanted to see me and that she seemed really upset. She was crying and didn't seem herself, and I thought her voice was rather slurred, and she mentioned that she really wanted to see me down at the trailer.
Okay.
So...
She wanted to see me. I thought she was drunk. Easy pickings.
I was like, hell yeah, boy. So he apparently says that he waited for her at the high school parking lot for 20 minutes, but she never arrived. And he had no idea that, she was missing or anything like that, or that the police were already looking for her because her parents had called. Didn't know shit. Now, about the vehicle, found 200 yards from his, or 100 yards from his house, he said that he made the decision not to tell anyone. He said he found it himself, obviously, and didn't tell anyone.
When I walked out my door, I saw it.
I seen it burning, and I was like, no. He said, quote, initially I was panicked. I was afraid to go close, afraid of what I might find. How do you explain this, She's dead, and she's dead in my backyard, And all these people searching the area, and they're all talking about these big searches and about the vehicles in someone's backyard. It's in my backyard. So, yeah.
I hate his stories.
He says, my idea was to stop the search for the vehicle. Listen to what he says. Listen to how obvious this is. My idea was to stop the search for the vehicle to avoid someone from going in there and finding that vehicle in my backyard. Right. Well, no fucking shit. That is not what we asked you stupid son of a bitch. That's how dumb this guy is. Or finding what I thought maybe was a body back there, too. I just panicked. I did an irrational thing. I don't think it says guilt, but it was irrational.
I disagree.
Yeah. Then the cops are like, you also wrote a letter, sent $200. Right. Like, there's a lot going on here. So
you bought the fire truck already.
Yeah, this is bad. So November 1988, the family finally decides they hold a memorial. They decide that they know hope is up here. They hold a memorial for close family and friends. They even requested people not to come. They basically said it's a very close thing. Please, unless you're invited, don't come. Basically, smart. Donate to the fire department is what they said. So anyway, late January 1989 is the trial. Okay. This lasts 9 days. Okay, now there's a couple of points of concern we'll go over very quickly here. There's a special agent Curtis of the FBI. He testified concerning Paul's body movement during a polygraph test.
Okay.
Polygraph test results are not admissible.
Yeah.
So this isn't the results of the polygraph. They went around it, the prosecution, and instead
got the body language.
Got the FBI guy to say what his body language was during a polygraph, which is still technically the polygraph. So that's a real gray area.
Yeah.
Very gray area. But they let him testify. That's admitted into trial. He was testifying as an expert witness with regards to responses observed before and after, but not during the polygraph. That's what he said. It wasn't during it. I didn't even look at him then, but before and after. So as part of the interview, Agent Curtis presented Paul with a scenario in which there were two Paul Ferrells. This is interesting as fuck, is it not? This case is a trip.
And really, there are, because he's got a twin brother.
He's got it. Yeah, there you go. One that was a calm, rational individual, and another one who acted emotionally and struck out in anger at Kathy Ford. And Agent Curtis testified that while he was verbally presenting the scenario, Mr. Ferrell was nodding. Which dumb people do when you tell them things, too. They just nod along because they think that you want them to nod.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean that he's...
Keep talking, I'm listening.
Agreeing. Yeah. That's mainly like, I'm thinking about pastries.
Right.
And you're talking, so I'm a nod.
Or I understand the words coming out of your mouth. I'm going to keep saying yes to signify that I do.
That's exactly right. So, he said that rather than he went further than simply stating that he nodded. He opined, based on his expertise in interpreting body language, that the nodding was really an admission of guilt.
Confirmation of what's happening.
Confirmation, which is a real stretch at trial to use. That's tough, especially when they talk about blood evidence. Blood evidence at trial that revealed approximately 20 samples appeared to be bloodstains taken from his home. And Kathy Ford's vehicle were analyzed by the FBI. A forensic seriologist, which is the blood people, testified that her analysis of these samples demonstrated that one contained human protein, but could not be confirmed as containing blood. 5 contained blood, which could not be confirmed as human, and the remainder contained human blood. The stains were extremely minute in quantity, and there was only 3 were found to contain recognized genetic markers. This is the very beginning of that. They didn't have you're fucking 10% Polish and 8%. It wasn't that kind of DNA. This is, we have certain genetic markers that are similar. They can break it down to 2% of the population, but they can't get to that's fucking you.
Got it.
Yet, not in regular things here. So they said that, however, because of the small quantity, the test purposes, only one was found to contain more than one genetic marker. So the testing process also destroyed the samples, because back then they did, leaving him with no opportunity later on to get the results verified. So that's a problem as well. And the state's DNA expert admitted that because of the smallness of the sample, there's no way to determine whether the bloodstains came from the same person. In addition, the cigarette butt found was the brand smoked by Kathy Ford in the corner of his living room was tested. Traces of saliva on the filter demonstrated that the smoker had been a type A secretor. A DNA testing expert had previously testified that the blood had come from a female. Okay. So there's no known blood sample from Kathy Ford to be used for comparison, so they use samples from her parents and testing for genetic markers. Agent Lynch here testifies that bloodstains analyzed in the course of the police investigation could have come from an offspring of the Fords. So that's good, but didn't definitely.
Not for sure.
Not for sure. They didn't have that, but it's possible. They were asked to compute the percentage of the population that would carry all the genetic markers found in the samples analyzed, and she concluded that they would occur in approximately 0.75% of the population.
Okay.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
That's
pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's not bad. Bloodstain taken from the floor joist of the defendant's bedroom, and that's the one I'd be concerned about, because that's where that meant a lot of fucking blood.
Yeah, that's a deep puddle.
Exactly. Showed the presence of, phosphoglucomutase.
Yep.
What the fuck is that? It's a blood enzyme. A blood stain on a paper towel taken from a trash bin, all of this shit. Tests determined that Kathy Ford's father had blood type O and carried the following genetic markers, and basically it could have been her, is what they found.
1% of the population has
less than one.
And her.
Yeah, and her, yeah. Kim Nelson, but how many are twins? And there's 2 sets here we're dealing with. So
that's the other point.
You never fucking know.
God damn it.
Kim Nelson, some of the strong, was on this. She testified. She's a lot of the strong evidence. She's the neighbor who could see his trailer from her house.
Right.
She told prosecutors that she heard the screams and everything like that, screaming and gunshots. Farrell never testifies on his own behalf here. So he's being charged with arson, kidnapping, and murder in the second degree.
Okay.
Here. So it goes to the jury. He believes that the prosecutor says that this woman later on will say she was forced to testify, and the prosecutor said they never forced her. Farrell never testifies. A verdict comes in. Guilty of kidnapping, guilty of arson, guilty of second-degree murder as well.
With no body.
No body, based on the blood and the evidence of the burning.
Lucky.
Sentencing here. You, sir, may fuck off. Life imprisonment with mercy for kidnapping, 5 to 18 years for second-degree murder, and 1 to 3 years for third-degree arson. All sentences to run consecutively.
Oh,
so
boy.
Even with the mercy, you're looking at least 25 years as he's going to do here. So that's
steep.
That's pretty good for him. Yeah, he's going to be, hopefully that energy will be gone by then. So 1990, he appeals. He appeals first on the nodding. nodding along, all that shit.
Confirmation of his fuck-ups.
Yeah. And the appeals court actually says, we agree with the defendant that it was improper for Agent Curtis to give expert testimony to the effect that he was admitting guilt by nodding while he was speaking to him. It's entirely possible that Mr. Farrell was simply nodding to show that he was listening and in no way agreed with what he was being told.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Indeed, the point was strenuously pointed out by the defense counsel as well. The jury is competent to determine the meaning of such everyday nonverbal communications, and Agent Curtis should not have been allowed to add an expert opinion on it. However, this was a small part of a very long, complicated thing. They said this is what you'd call a harmless error that you're not going to reverse on.
Okay.
This wasn't the factor that made the jurors vote guilty.
No,
that guy and his nodding. The blood, too, he doesn't challenge the scientific basis of the blood stain analysis and all of that. He challenges the conclusions that they made, asserting that it was an error to allow Agent Lynch to testify that blood stains found at the trailer could have come from Kathy Ford based on all of this shit, based on some statistical bullshit he's saying. That DNA is still not accepted as gospel like it is now.
They don't know how much it's caught. Yeah, because it hasn't.
That's the thing. Yeah, they don't have no idea. Now, the phone calls, these are hard to explain.
Oh, yeah.
He contends in his appeal that evidence of over 206 phone calls to various bookstores and libraries across the country should have been excluded because it was more prejudicial than probative. The state contends the evidence of the phone calls was probative because it established motive, intent, and a common plan or scheme that he used to get sexual gratification out of misidentifying himself on the phone. And it was essential to prove the charge of kidnapping, that he changed his identity on the phone to get people to do things. And the state did not offer the phone call evidence to show the defendant was more likely to commit the crime of kidnapping. In fact, the phone calls don't show that the defendant's character made him more likely to kidnap someone. The calls simply prove elements essential to the kidnapping case, namely motive and intent, and also tend to show a common plan or scheme.
Right.
Yes. So, oh boy. These calls, when considered in conjunction with the calls to local women, are probative because they tend to prove Mr. Farrell uses fraud to entice women out of their fucking
I
areas.
love the phone calls. That's maybe the best
that nails
of the
it.
whole thing.
It nails it for me too. They also said they do agree that the evidence he said that he claims there's insufficient evidence to convict him of kidnapping, but they conclude that evidence for kidnapping should be upheld because her fucking car was in his yard, basically. Right. So the prosecution needed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he used fraud to entice her near the mobile home for the purpose of gaining a concession or advantage in the form of sexual gratification. So they were talking about that. They said he claims the prosecution failed to show that he used force on the victim, transporting or confined her. But they said it's clear that kidnapping can be accomplished without force or compulsion if you use fraud to do it. That's still kidnapping. Right. They wouldn't have done that if you hadn't have lied to them. And they said that the use of his many phone calls to get the shit he wanted is pretty good evidence of that. Which, I mean, Jesus Christ. He also claimed that he can't be convicted of kidnapping if he's convicted of murder because the kidnapping would be incidental to the murder.
No, absolutely not.
That's wrong too. They said that a kidnapping has not been committed. He's bringing up a statute. It's ridiculous.
How are you going to murder somebody if you don't kidnap them?
Exactly. The case, they said here, it's highly unlikely that Paul Farrell enticed Kathy to his trailer exclusively in order to kill her. Rather, the jury could have reasonably believed that he enticed her to his trailer in order to commit the offense of rape, an offense of which he was not charged because they have no evidence of that. Therefore, we find no reason the defendant cannot be convicted of the separate offenses of kidnapping and murder. Okay. Then his last thing is, how do we know she's dead?
Okay.
Is she really dead? He said that there's insufficient evidence that she was even dead, and the body language evidence should not have been used. Jury was improperly instructed. The whole thing's tainted. We're going to settle it all at Gormania, brother. The West...
But also, hold on, somebody say taint again. I'm tugging.
Oh, I'm tugging. The West Virginia Supreme Court rejects the appeal by a 3-2 vote.
That's too close.
Very close. And the U.S. Supreme Court refused to consider the case.
Okay.
February 1991, they're still looking for Kathy.
Oh, no.
The mother, or Mr. Ford, said, I'll do anything I can to find, this is the brother, I'm sorry. I'll do anything I can to find my sister.
The body?
I still go out and search when I have time or when I think of a new place to look. This poor fucking guy, man. These poor people. The Richard Ford, the father, said the FBI said it wasn't their job to look for her, and most of the searches have been done by friends.
That's gross.
He's fucking pissed. He said he's really mad at the everybody for failing to
That's
find her.
That's a guy that wants to stop paying federal taxes for sure.
Yeah, he's super mad about that.
My daughter, fuck you.
They said, I want to see, the brother said, I want to see her found and put it to rest once and for all. So now 1992, a magazine comes out saying Paul's innocent.
What?
Called The Public Eye. It's sold in Western Maryland and in West Virginia. It's $2.50. It's a 40-page article by a freelancer named Martin Yant. And he claims that this is all bullshit. He claims that it's a false accusation on Paul Farrell. He claims that the evidence he reports is it's really
weak, right?
It doesn't compare to all the mountain of the other shit. It's like somebody saw Darvin Moon in the area of this and that. He could have gone in, killed her in his trailer and all that. It's like, yeah, he could have, but more than likely, this fucking asshole did it.
Or it's the guy that lives there who, if you've got a car burning by your property, you're not looking at what it is before you just call and get somebody to come.
There's some shit on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to go look at it.
So this Yant guy said he had a 6-month investigation revealing 2 witnesses who now claim they were intimidated by prosecutors. He said Kimberly Sue Nelson of Mount Storm now says she was coerced by Maryland police officials to falsely testify she heard pounding, screaming, and a gunshot from the trailer. Yant also said witness Tamala Kitzmiller of Mount Storm now says the prosecutors in the case intimidated her during her testimony, linking Farrell to phone calls to her in 1987. She since determined through hypnosis, since then, that the telephone calls she received were not from Farrell.
Oh, boy.
So he hooked her up to a hypnotist and then was like, oh, yeah, it's not from him, even though the evidence says it was from him and there's records of him calling you. Nelson, Kitzmiller, and several other prosecution witnesses say that they were frightened into acceptance of Farrell's guilt with unsubstantiated allegations about Farrell and his family. Several say they were told Farrell had been linked to several murders around the Yellowstone National Park and that he had a split personality and that he was a psychopath who must be put away. The prosecutor said, quote, I try cases in the courts. I don't try them in newspapers and magazines. The jury found him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever. Kitzmiller, the one witness, said that I think it's very acute injustice and it needs to be corrected. If the people of this country allow this conviction to stand, none of us will be safe from this kind of injustice in the future. Well, if any of you have a burning missing girl's car in your yard, call the cops and then you won't be, you fucking jackass. So they also say that Kathy's alive in this article. That's the main reason why he shouldn't be in jail. He said he's able to locate 2 witnesses, people, witnesses. Random people, who claim they saw Kathy a year after she vanished.
Okay, well, then produce Kathy.
Well, they said December of 89, a couple from the Gorman area was passing through Tennessee driving when they visited a restaurant and noticed the waitress looked like Kathy.
Okay.
They noticed the waitress appeared to be nervous when she noticed the couple, probably because they're staring at her like creeps.
Maybe because you're weirdos.
Yeah. When another waitress came over to them, she asked what the husband felt was a strange question for a restaurant off the freeway. She said, quote, you seem to be strangers here. Where are you from?
That's weird.
I've never seen you before.
Right.
It probably is the same people. When she went to talk to the waitress that looked like Kathy, then they said Kathy ran back in the kitchen and they couldn't find her after that. Okay. So she's still alive, hiding in a diner in Tennessee.
Maybe she didn't want to be bothered by some fucking weirdos. Maybe you creeped her out.
Maybe you creeped a waitress out. Right. That wasn't anybody. Right. Some young girl who's
creeped out old Fran. Let her be.
The prosecutor said there's entirely too much evidence here. The guilt against this man is absolutely overwhelming. Absolutely overwhelming. He says it twice. He said a large amount of evidence was presented to the jury. Ms. Nelson and Ms. Kitzmiller both testified. No promises or threats were made to them. I guess it's easy for people to make those kinds of accusations. I have not talked to those people since the trial. I certainly didn't coerce anybody. It's such a big deal. On September 25th, 1992, it is featured on Unsolved Mysteries.
It's not unsolved, Robert Stack.
We don't know where she is. That's a mystery, but pretty fucking sure we got a good idea. I'd check the river. I don't know. I think she's in the fucking river. If her car's right next to the river, I'd say probably drag the river.
Or check out back of that trailer and dig a bit.
Dig the whole fucking thing up. 1994, an appeal based on a small amount of DNA. Small amount. Since his trial, they've repeatedly challenged it, obviously. The item here, they wanted better genetic testing now. The item was a blanket found in his vehicle, in the police vehicle, the cruiser, that allegedly had tiny stains of blood. Now, they compared this to samples from her parents, And they said that after all of this, they end up finding out that sample could not have come from Kathy, a blanket in his police cruiser.
So he killed somebody else, too?
Or somebody was bleeding and went in the police cruiser. Right. They gave him a blanket. Who the fuck knows? Based on that, though, they allow his release from prison.
What?
In 1994. What? While it reviews the case, they put him on home confinement for 2 years while the case is reviewed. They basically let him out on bail while the case is reviewed.
Oh, boy.
And then after that, 2 years later, 1996, the court reaffirms the conviction and puts his ass back in prison. Okay.
I didn't know we do things like that.
Oh, it gets worse. Time on home confinement, by the way, counts toward a sentence. Which,
what?
No. Maybe half. Maybe 2 days at home is 1 day in prison, or 5 days to 1 or something.
I'd go 3 to 1, maybe.
You at your house ain't fucking... How often do people try to rape you in the shower in your house, Jimmy? Does it happen a lot to you? Probably not, I'd say.
How many phone calls does he make into libraries while he's there?
Oh, just a tugging away. January 2001, in the last 2 days of Governor Cecil Underwood of West Virginia's term.
Son of a bitch.
One of his final acts in office, which went largely unnoticed because there was a big deal over paid comp time payments to his staff or something they made a big deal out of. They didn't notice that he commuted the sentence of Paul William Farrell here. Commuted it.
Yeah.
The order said Farrell's convictions, quote, are not supported by the presence of the alleged victim's body, a weapon, eyewitnesses, or physical evidence such as fingerprints, hair, or fibers. They didn't mention blood in there, I noticed. Yeah. Ford's body has never been found, and they prosecuted the prosecutors did all this shit. And basically they're like, no. Underwood's order said, quote, he has proven to be an exemplary inmate as reflected by his institutional record and educational achievements. He had no prior police record. Oh, well, that's great then. You don't need one. It would have been different if he had fucking stolen a Milky Way bar from a fucking convenience store when he was 18. That would have made him worse. It's murder. Who fucking cares?
So you're saying one charge, first charge, we wash?
It's a pretty good one, right. I think, right?
So you're saying he got caught the first time, and that means that he's not a criminal?
So apparently not. Farrell had requested a fuller conditional pardon, but instead, this governor commutes his sentence to where he is now eligible for parole the next year, 2002, rather than 2020. So he comes under fire once that comes out in the whole deal there.
Singing "No Body, No Crime."
No body, no crime.
It's hard to sign these death warrants with no body and no crime.
And I burn a Bronco, leave it in my yard. No body, no crime. He doesn't give a fuck.
Light a bonfire.
Put her watch inside.
No body, no crime.
So, May of 2004,
boy.
His defense lawyer tells the parole board he's had an outstanding record in prison and everything else. And the parole board goes, I agree, let him out.
Oh, my God.
2004, fucking out.
I am terrified of the man.
Yeah, he was, and his lawyer said the jury did recommend mercy. They knew he'd be parole eligible. Not then. Boy. I bet if you said he'll be out in 10 years or 11 years, they'd go, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe let's get whatever. The prosecutor said he ought to have served 20 to 25 years. To let him out in 15 is really a travesty.
It really is.
And he's there. He still lives in Gorman, from what I understand.
Oh, no.
People after that saw him walking around Gorman and Gormania, brother, and they were like, we're a little uncomfortable.
I hope they do walk by him and say, hey, Paul, you sumbitch.
But, yeah, you sumbitch. You friggin' sumbitch. Around these parts, though, they love a good conspiracy, and they love a good government's fucking me conspiracy around these parts. So it's about 50-50. People think he did it, and people think he didn't do it.
Some
around
people
there.
think he's a hero.
Oh, there's a lot of people around there who think he was set up by the dirty state and the FBI and the feds and all this shit.
God.
A lot of people think that about that, and that he's an innocent man.
Lots of Comet Pizza people.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
Lots of people that read that article and then didn't read the court documents with the evidence in them, like I did.
Way too much.
Yeah, I read all the evidence is what I did. I read what they had in science and things like that. I didn't just go, I don't no, I hear he did that. And did you hear the one? I heard her and her boyfriend. Because there was someone who came forward.
You want to frame somebody, you take a missing person's car, put it right next to them.
Do it.
They look guilty.
And they look guilty. Yeah. There was somebody who came forward and said a year before that, Kathy had come to them and said that she was afraid of her boyfriend, Darvin, and blah, blah, blah. So it was probably him. And they do shit like that. And it's like, well, that's a year before. And no. So anyway, there you go, everybody. West Virginia never disappoints. Can we just say that? Never lets us down, does it? Holy shit.
It's a fucking place, man.
And I have another one from West Virginia. There's so many from West Virginia, but if you like the episode, please let us know about it. Apple Podcasts.
Friggin' review.
5 stars. That was a crazy episode. Come on.
Unbelievable.
It takes 30 seconds to sign in and do the review. That was a lot of information to find. So do that. Help us out a lot. Doesn't matter what you say. It really doesn't. Tell me, let's see. What's a good thing?
That was not justice.
I would like your favorite, your exact perfect house temperature that you'd like. Tell me that.
You know what? Dig deep and find your best verse to No Body, No Crime.
There you go. Put it up. Enjoy. So there you go.
Don't
5
be a
stars.
hack. Get a good one.
Get a good one, damn it. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. First of all, for all the merchandise, get your Cheer Up Bitch Christmas sweater. It's amazing. But most of all, get your tickets to the virtual live show, January 29th. Not a prisoner dating game, an actual episode like we do when we go to the theaters. Visuals, you get to see everything. You'll be able to hear much better. So about half the people had audio issues last time, and we were told it was a connection issue because half the people could hear it perfectly, and apparently if the connection was a little fucked up, the first thing that's fucked up is audio. Or they tried to explain it technically, but we don't understand. We're stupid.
So we're going to do our best to make sure whatever that possibility is, we're going to give you every opportunity we can.
It's going to sound great. It's going to look good, and it's going to be a lot of fun. An actual case right now, shutupandgivememurder.com, January 29th, and it'll be up for 72 hours afterwards.
Great.
So get your tickets to that.
14 days?
That's about 8-9 days. Good holiday gift there. Get your friend, whoever is into the show, get him tickets to this, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Have fun.
He or her some stuff. So do that, and also listen to Crime and Sports, obviously. Listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie. You can head over, follow us on social media, at Murder Small on Twitter, at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, at Smalltown Murder on Instagram, and do all of that. And Patreon. You want Patreon so bad. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports. Anybody above the $5 level gets access to all of the amazing bonus stuff. This week, we are going to talk about the crazy goings-on of the United States Football League back in the early 80s for the Crime and Sports episode. Lots of coke and players assaulting owners over back pay and shit. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And then the small town murder one, though.
It sounds so much crazier when you say United States. USFO, I know what it means.
Yeah.
But when you say it out loud, I'm like, that sounds awful.
It sounds like it's going to be silly, like a public access football team. That and small town murders, we are going to talk about the Manson family, Charles Manson, and the murders and everything. Well, we're not going to get into the murders, but we're going to talk about the Manson family, the cult. And then we're going to compare them to Heaven's Gate. And we're going to compare and contrast these two very different cults. From a hippie sex cult to a sexless
computer geeks,
like nerd cult. Right. It's very fucking different, but also very similar veins run through them that we'll talk about.
I can't wait.
Patreon.com/Crime and Sports. Also, Jimmy will mispronounce your name at the end of the show, like always. And in addition to that, if you want to just donate and have your name mispronounced at the end of the show, you can do that on PayPal. Very easy to do that. Go to PayPal, use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Right.
And there you go. That said, Jimmy, damn it, please give me the list of the people. They're the best people in the world, and they would never burn our Bronco. Who are they, Jimmy?
This week's executive producers are Abigail Martin, Jenny in Colorado Springs, Jeff Watson, Frank McKee, Nathan Keller, Kyle Olson, Jordan Bennett, Brittany Ryan, Samantha Sarski, Susanna Platt, Alexander Hall, Molly McDermott, Amanda Bergvik. Abby Lee, Ryan Gaffney, Shanna Brazelton, Shauna Risson.
Chris, yeah, probably not Risson.
Right, it's 2 S's. That's Riss, right?
Yeah.
The English language says so. Christina, nope, that's Christy Hunting. Adam Sackwell, what? No? Yeah, Sockwell. I'm sorry, man. Josh Kohler, Alyssa Casala, yes, Jess Hall, Anita Martinez, Claire Olina, Michelle Gulick, Gulick, I think, Anthony Lambert, and Elizabeth Compton. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
truly,
you. God, you make us. Thank you.
Truly, absolutely. Other producers this week are Kurt Lawson, Kayla Ruffensack, Snack.
You said sack and snatch in there, both.
I don't know. I can't tell what that is. That's a tough one. She was Kayla.
For her especially.
My word. Janice Hill, James Martyr, Peyton Meadows, Marissa Ryman Scott, Liz Vasquez, Killian Cargan, Amanda McPherson, Amanda Knight, Martha Kirkland, Joan Arndt, Rachel Flaherty, yes, Nicole Lopez, Mary Westfall, Anna Lipinski, Adam Parmenter, Max Dean, and happy birthday. Who is this? What did I do? It's for Kay. Don't be a bitch, says Max. Okay. Allison Heimer, Jessica Massery, Thomas Smith, Jennifer Inglis, Darren Mihal and Jess Stope had an anniversary. Happy anniversary. He's the one that moved from PA to Florida. I think that's how it worked. Abigail Lewandowski, Steve Schnell. Thanks, Steve. Corey.
Scientist himself.
That's our guy. Corey McKinnon. And he just got PhD. I think that's what he did.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
That guy's awesome.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Cool dude.
Jude Kendall. Happy birthday, Jasmine Aposian. Rabbi Shmulalovich. I don't know why that guy makes me do that. It's not his name. It's another dude's name. And he tells me, you say Shmulalovich every week, goddammit. I'm sending you money. You better say it. I said it. You happy now? Norm Resnick.
Can't help it.
Tom Callahan. Gallagher. What?
Those are not the same name at all.
I now know where my daughter. I'll tell you about it later. Gary Friedman, Kendon Mockett, Ashley Vio, Kyle Olson, Jeff Linden, Jessica Kuda, Marat Marjevich, Mariah Alexevich, Alex Java. That's not right either. Michelle Harton, I think that's what it is. That's not right. Martin, that's Martin, right? It's an M.
Sure.
And then Neil. What did I got to say here? Neil, David Nolf, Develdneff. What is happening? David. Nope, that's Barry Grow. Anita Martinez, Monica Young, and she wrote a nice email, or she wrote something nice because I put an exclamation there and then didn't write why I wrote that. I'm a fucking asshole. Austin,
thank you.
Grover. Allison Bennett. All right. Buckle up. So I'm helping my daughter with school, and she struggles with reading because she sees a word and then she just reads it for what she thinks it is, and it's not right. Yeah. She's way the fuck off.
Autofilling,
and I'm having a real. I think she might be dyslexic. I don't know what's happening.
Common.
Something's wrong, and the anxiety of being online. It's a mess, man. I'm not doing well with it. Going on. Jen DeSimio, Michael Bowman, Erica Ortiz, John Benhart, Zach Beal, Tom Gillis, Miles Hubert, Bruce, nope, that's Bree. Bree Brock, Chris Arcement, Valerie Banks, Candace Edinger, Wendy Van Winkle, good morning, Morgan Sexsmith, Mike Boutiette.
Oh,
I don't know. It's fucking French, and it's not that other ass. That you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Robert Colesby, Wade Williams, Kaylin Harrison, fucking jerk. Matt Apont, Kathleen F. Leg, Dennis Dunbar, Christine would know last name, Wayne Reynolds, Zach Golder, Ashley Agnes Anagnostiadis. It's not Italian. That's fucking Greek, right?
Yeah,
I think so. Haley
something.
Glesman, yes. Megan Bunstetter, Gregory Klein, Beth Bush, Alicia Reby. Okay. Julia Gauthier, Gisela Fleischer, Dan Zinke, Micah Walker, Christine Conway, James Oyedi.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Tabby Renee, I think. Laconda Gaston, Laura Craw. Okay, now it's mixing with.
The wheels have come off
I could never
now,
do
Jim.
it, and I'm writing it wrong. Kathleen Chapman, Sarah Nash, Peter Marcellus, Ramona Sovereign, what? Rosa Barcina, David and Sharon McCowan, Louis Garcia, Dylan Leahy, Sarah Schruff, Shanna House, Josh Hensley, Linda Whitley, Tamara Kroll, Andrea Sobolenik, Jeremy Hugh, Ivers, Damian Boucher.
Start doing like a rehearsal dry run through these.
Damian Busherman, Melissa Benson, James Mills, Susan Halpern, Di Zhu.
Okay, we're on a roll.
It's two letters, first and last name. I still can't get it. Walter Turner, Kyle Kane, Jill Killian, Carissa Welsh, Bunny Lenk, Felicity Harpour, Corey Souza, Al Corralius, Sarah with no last name, George Alston, Susan Evold, what? Eva Vold? Sarah Rose, Jason, that's a weird Jason. Jesun.
Oh, okay.
That's not right.
I'm like, how is
Campbell? Jason
what kind of name
Campbell.
is that?
Right, but
quarterback
it's
of the old quarterback of the Redskins.
Redskins,
right?
right.
Clearly.
Andrea Henry, Mike DeGrief, Nick with no last name, Tia Slusher, Kathy Coretti, Jessica Gibbons, Sarah Holm, Nicola Satherley, Trey Jelly, Stephen Cryer, Chad Colvert, Connert, Go Out. Cowart, Lauren Chianchiola, Jeff DeLuca. Nope. Rachel T. Thompson, Mariah King, Angela Heaton, Josh Ross, James Davin, Amanda Yoshoka Maxwell, Walter Strickland, Marianne Losey, Yasmin Chaudhry, Judy Barbulo Smith, Shakira Fitzhugh, Jeff Huck, Jamie Mayo, Cassie with no last name, Amanda Verdenberg, Jennifer Matarese, that's what that is.
Say Manhole?
I did, because I can't write. Cassie Phelps, Travis Pryor, Juliana Thiel, Thiege, what? Thies. Karen Volberg Armero, I'm sorry. Sean Stafford, Megan Herrera, nope, Herup. D. Cohen, Sarah Fusett, Danielle Bailistrucific. Bela Strary, John Sargent, Robin Nandon, John Campa, Jean Campa, Kyle Thompson, Yvonne Gordon.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm a fucking mess, man. Siobhan Hitchcock, KC with no last name, Jenna Thorson, Vit Kaczmarek, Loud Jeff, Colin Underwood, Devin Zandoli, Chandra Harbor, Cody Smith, Emmy Zanelli, Cameron Schmoker, Carly Hagnon, Caitlin Freund, Sean, what the fuck? I get two in a row and then it's no. Cameron Schmoker, Sean Rabargi, Brandon Wegner, Paisley McCraner, Danny Burgess, Daniel Jablonski, Cassidy Perkins, Tyler Roebuck, Angie Rush, Bergen Thielen, Gina Chovy, Emily Thomas, Lori League, Dara Peklak. I don't know.
That's a long pause for that.
Matt, what? Shuttleworth, Delayla Goodwin, Tucker Crowley, Ren Gardner, Becky Gardner, Sonia Lee Pointer, Gracie at Doris. Christopher LeCount, Rose Browning, Ryan Burrows, Shelley Blanchett, Jill Patterson, Kayla McGuire, Ariel as Anzone, Jason Hamming, Kathy Morris, Kristen Willie, Kiana Briscoe, Tony A, Alina Nevins, Jefferson Steelflex, Caitlin Olsen, Trina Guthier, Paul Amail, Paul, is that Paul? Paul Bergen, it's never going to happen, Paul. Robinowski, Robin Gianordo. I don't know what that name is. Angel Hernandez, Trina Guthier, nope, that's Guthridge. Aaron would know last name. Liz Collins, Michael Morgan, Ashley would know last name. Jocelyn Weaver, nope, that's Justin. See, I'm trying my hardest. Greta Growl, Emily Key. There's so many fucking this week. Well, this is unbelievable. I can't believe it. Son, DeAndre Brinson, B.O., or just Bo. I don't know what that is. Jesse Hensky. Chris would know last name. John Brindell, John Helton, Chris Aber. Delaney would know last name. Dana Schmalley, Jesse Kunkler, George Wynn, Ann Wegmax. Tim Turner, Kane, what? Kate Moran, Rick and Stephanie Alpine, Mick Alpine, Kate Miller, Veronica, nope, the Veronique Elwood, Meg Otto, Anna Gervais, like Ricky's daughter, Miss Yoder, Philip, what is this? Philip Crap Irving, that's a real name. Okay. Heather would know last name. Oliver Delcourt, Donette Perry, Ryan Herndal. Rachel Miller, Sean Platter, Gabrielle Flynn, Carolyn Phillips, Jennifer Helms, Devin Taylor, Michelle Corbett, Jose Mendez, Jason Rocheford, Anthony Harris, Devin Taylor, I think I said that, Frankie Kafka, Emily McCauley, Ann Kirk, Tanya would know last name, Alexandria Windhelm, Ashley May, Byron Perry, Draven Smith, Sam Garver, Rosendo, Del Real, Kim Lofnane, I don't know, Pascaline Mickens, Michael Palacio, Tiffany Martin, Annabelle Patino, Jalapeno, Amy Atwell, Lisa Hefner, Nancy Clark, Anna H., Kristen Smith, Dalton would know last name. We're almost done. God damn it. Stuart Rosenthal, Lori Freilich, Kaleo, what did I do? Oh, this is a fucking Native American name. Kaleo Anaka Ole. It's not name. Right. It's cool as shit, but that wasn't right. Sure Hannah, it's way cooler. Yeah. Hannah Messingham, Ben Schumann, Zacharich Harris, Polly Berkey, Danny Chestnut, Hugh Jassel. Right. Got it. Not a real name. You get it. You know. Emily Guy, Ariel Childress. How can you put a fucked up name in here and expect me to get that right? No, I'm never going to pronounce happening. Even your fucked up tricks right. Cassie Jones, Ryan Wenzel, Sam Cooperman, Katie Jones, Mike Virgo, Nicole Lindgren, Courtney would know last name, Emma Rose, Jason Durham, Colin Bronchetti, obviously, Akeem Bennett, John Bunger, Brett with L is his last name, no last name, Alicia Brown, Paul Good, Justin May, Miranda Land, Acacia Weaver, Ivan Silva, Melissa Stinchcombe, Thomas Gallagher, Feel Good and Duddy, Feeling Good and with Duddy. I don't know what that is. Kate would know last name. Richard Benson, Lisa Dawkins, Kayla would know last name. Emma Shepler, Christina would know last name. Tom Ludgood, Keaton Kosick, Christina would know last name. Chris Matherly, Megan McLaren, Georgie Bingham. Oh, Georgie, over there in England. She's fantastic. Yeah, she is. Caitlin Rose, Leona Green, Chris Orme, Josh Smith, Thomas DeMello, Annalise would know last name. Kanique Weich, Bailey Tate, Mark Burnett. Oh, because it's not. Yeah. Right. Chris Orme, I said that. Josh Smith, Katie Brashears, Chris Stinsky, Barb, Ace, Sharon Gomez, Homestretch, Brendan Jones, Will Holmson, Luis Linares, Polyak, Just Glovenet. Patrice Rodriguez, Scout Kinsley, Sharon Banks, Jack Reed, Jessica Spraden, Carrie Merrill, Amy Gay. Nope, that's Matt Gay. Sorry. Melissa Freeman, Kimberly Pronovost, Matt Bush, David Harley. Yeah, I think it's David Harley. Keturah Thorpe, and Pickle Daddy, obviously, and Simone Stridham, if you're still listening through all of this shit. Marius Meyer, that's the guy's name. He gives a shit and wants to marry you, so he'd love to marry you. Give him a run.
Hey,
I don't know if he's a good dude, but if you love him, run with it. Yeah. And all of our patron supporters, you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for all of this.
Thank you, everybody, so much for everything. We can't thank you enough. We're blown away by the support. You've made it so going on the road this year, we could still eat food and pay electric bills and stuff. So thank you so much for everything you do for us. Jimmy, what if they wanted to thank you? How could they possibly do it?
You can thank me wherever you want. I appreciate it, truly.
Yes, thank you.
It's the past couple of weeks have been really trying for me, and I'm just thankful to have you guys around for it. Yeah. Thank you. Where can they find you?
Thank you. You know where to find us if you want to copy and paste names or whatever. You got that. Internet. That's right. That said, thank you, honestly, everybody, from the bottom of our hearts. We really do appreciate everything you do for us. And we're going to keep doing it over and over with crazy stories just like this each and every week. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.